Oh, baby! What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot, Rico. It's Rico and Bot in the evening, brought to you by BetUS, where the game begins. Receive a 125% sign-up bonus via the link in the description below. Rico, it's Z-Bot and Rico in the evening on a Friday, not the afternoon. The boys' sleep schedule was a bit off track today, would you not say? You and me were texting each other at 4 a.m. saying, hey, we might have to put this one on a nightcap tonight, the way things are going. Are you feeling good at least?
Listen, I'm still tired as F, but we got to keep it rolling for the people. And we got to keep it rolling, as always. I mean, we got to keep this thing rolling for, the Rico Bot fans that are out there that rock with us. And listen, it's Friday evening, baby. Let's get it cracking.
Plenty to talk about tonight, including Buffalo Bills football, folks, tomorrow afternoon. This is always, the best. I tweeted out the other day. What was it? We're 5 weeks from Bills football, and it's like, technically, we're actually 6 days away from Bills football because of the preseason game. And I'm like, right you are, because we got Buffalo Bills football tomorrow. No, it doesn't count, but guess what? The uniforms are on. It's in the building. It's NFL football. And guess what? It counts a bit more than maybe you would have thought, because Josh Allen's going out there and playing. So it counts in the sense of, hey, we get to watch Josh Allen football on August 10th. Sign me up for that, no matter what time of the year it is. August 10th, September 10th, July 10th. I don't care. If Josh Allen's out on the field, I'll be tuning in. We also get to see the first ever NFL reps in a live game setting from the number 1 overall draft pick, Caleb Williams. It's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely.
The Bills take on the Chicago Bears. And if you're wondering, it is on NFL Network. So anybody who wants to tune in can watch it without having to go and get the NFL Plus plan, which has all the preseason games this offseason, apparently. So that's tomorrow. We'll also, of course, talk about the thumbnail at hand. Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs, the saga that continues. Another newsworthy bite. Do you miss me, Rico? That's the question. We'll also talk about another big storyline outside of Buffalo, a couple of them. Brandon Aiyuk and what the hell is going on there. And also the Jerry Jones, what the hell did he say this week saga that seems to continue week after week after week. Tons to talk about tonight, but we'll start with that Josh Allen, Stefon Diggs, whatever you want to call it at this point. Just when you thought it could finally end, Rico, we have actual football coming around the corner, yet this is still a topic. Josh Allen was asked this week about his relationship with Stefon Diggs and how that has kind of either been absent, been noticeably absent this offseason, this preseason. Mm-hmm. We'll just take it to YouTube to let you see what you probably have already seen by now, I would imagine, but to frame it before we show it. Josh Allen was basically asked if he misses Stefon Diggs in camp here, if it's noticeable, if he misses him. Here's what Josh Allen had to say to answer that question.
Steph's a great player, and what he brought to this team was special. So miss is I don't know if I'd say miss. He was a guy that was reliable. You can look to. He's going to have the juice each and every day. I'm sure he's bringing it over there in Houston. So definitely, you can't say that you don't miss that.
Let's play it one more time.
Steph's a great player, and what he brought to this team was special. So miss is I don't know if I'd say miss. He was a guy that was reliable. You can look to. He's going to have the juice each and every day. I'm sure he's bringing it over there in Houston. So definitely, you can't say that you don't miss that.
Rico, your initial thoughts when you heard Josh Allen's response, because he could have went about this a multitude of different ways, I suppose, and he did wind up saying a quote that was nestled between other quotes. I want that to be known, because that, of course, is not emphasized when you see this talked about. The one quote that is emphasized, I wouldn't say miss. When you put it in context with the rest of what Allen had to say, I think it makes a bit more sense. But how did you read it when you initially heard Allen's response to that question?
Well, I took it as like, okay, first and foremost, I understand you have to ask that question as a reporter because it gives you something to write about. And listen, it's been a few months now where Allen and Diggs is no longer. Diggs is no longer in the building. So now that he's been with his boys, let's check back in and see how he feels, if his tune has changed. Let me tell you something. If his boys weren't performing during the offseason, communication problems, right? Chemistry issues. Hey, do you miss Diggs? Hey man, he was a big part of this offense. He was a big part of this team, and of course you're gonna miss him. That's a big chunk of this offense that's gone. But we're gonna adjust. We're gonna do things. And no, bro, he didn't go. He feels good with what's in the locker room. He feels good with what's been producing onto the field. So, do you miss him? No, I don't. I don't miss him. But listen, man, we got some great guys on this team, great guys in this locker room. We're gonna do good things, bro. Everything that Allen said tells me that he is absolutely confident in the guys that he has in Keon Coleman, with Curtis Samuel, with the emergence of Kincaid. The O-line is looking pretty solid for now. The run game is good. He's got a great relationship with Joe Brady. I'm good, baby. I'm good. And I don't have to is 14 gonna snap at me if I don't get him the football? No, I'm the alpha dog in this bitch now. So I tell you guys what's up. So you're going to get the ball here. You're going to get the ball there. Bro, he is absolutely confident. And that's why he stood on his business when he said, no, I don't miss him. And that's, to me, that's the ultimate sign that some folks got to be scared a little bit. Be scared, because if he's feeling good and he likes what's out there, don't let these national media get cats tell you, watch out for the Bills. They lost Diggs. They lost Davis. They don't have Poyer. They don't have Hyde. They're not going to be the same team. They might miss the playoffs. Don't fall for that shit. Don't fall for it. You know what? Actually, fall for it. Actually, I implore you to fall for it, because when they come out and show you what's good, then you're going to be like, damn, it's the Bills. They won the AFC East 4 straight times. They're going for a 5th. Why did we doubt them? Don't doubt the Bills. And that's the way I look at it. So he feels extra good, extra good. So what say you, though? Did you take something from that his response, or are you in the same line as me?
Like most people, when I first saw this, it wasn't watching the press conference live. It was, of course, a graphic generated by every major outlet out there that had the quote, "I wouldn't say miss." And then you look at that, and my immediate thought is, there's no way that that's exactly what he said without any clarification, because there's no way Allen would say, no, we don't miss Stefon Diggs on this team, right? Few ways to look at it, and I think they all are accurate. One, let's look at it from the quarterbackial standpoint that I like to bring up. The at the podium, represent the organization well. You know that means a ton to me. I think 50% of a quarterback's job, and this includes going out on the field and balling out, 50% of the job is accurately representing your organization, being the guy that is the face of the organization. When you take the podium, you represent your team and the organization in the highest light possible. Let's look at what Josh Allen would look like if he said, yeah, of course we miss him. We miss him terribly. Does that instill confidence in Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid? If you take the podium and say, we miss him every day out here, it's noticeable we don't have him out here. That instills confidence in nobody. Not the fan base, not the team around him, nobody. So from the quarterback standpoint, you have to be able to answer that question in a way that doesn't cause controversy while at the same time instilling confidence in your team. I thought the way he answered it was perfect.
Yep.
Because let's be honest, we went into this training camp period, you and I both, and plenty of us in Bills Mafia, with the biggest question mark on our sheet being, what's this offense going to look like without Stefon Diggs? Are we going to miss him? And I had said with you live here on the show, after 2 weeks of camp, we've been taking for granted the fact that the stories coming out of camp have not been, hey, we're watching every snap of every training camp practice here, and it is quite obvious Stefon Diggs is not out on that field. We had made a note to say how impressed we were with the fact that hadn't been the narrative, because it very well could have been. reporters out there every day watching every little nuance that this team conducts on a daily basis. And you haven't heard once, you can tell blatantly Stefon Diggs is not out on the field with that offense. What have we heard instead, Rico? We've heard Curtis Samuel clicking with Josh Allen. Looks like they've been playing for years. Another highlight reel grab for Keon Coleman. Every single day he's pulling one off. Dalton Kincaid looking like he's ready to take that next step in year 2, right? Khalil Shakir, etc. So when I see Josh Allen say, I wouldn't say miss, what I take from that is we feel good about what we have right now. I don't want to say I miss Stefon Diggs currently, because if I say I miss him, that would imply that something's missing on this offense. He's saying we aren't missing him right now because what we have right now, we feel really confident about.
Absolutely.
But what did he say after that, Rico? Because the big quote was, I wouldn't say miss. What he said after that, and I'm paraphrasing, but what essentially he said was, what he brought to this team was special. And of course, that is something you miss. That's accurate. And we've said the same thing. We all have. We all know this. This is common sense. When you lose a top 10 player at any position, he's going to be missed. You're going to miss Jordan Poyer this year. You're going to miss Micah Hyde. You're going to miss Mitch Morris. You're going to miss Gabe Davis at times. You're going to miss Tre'Davious White, even though he hasn't been out on the field much. You're going to miss guys that have been impactful for your team. It's inevitable. The Bills are going to miss Stefon Diggs. I'm going to miss Stefon Diggs. We all are going to miss Stefon Diggs because the answer is short and simple. Would you rather have a top 10 receiver on your roster or not? Of course, you'd rather have it. Therefore, you're going to miss it. It's like, if you have your family up, I live down in Connecticut. My family's up in Rochester. Yeah. I have them down for the weekend. They leave. Do I miss them? Absolutely. Of course, I'm going to miss them. Right. But I have to live down here for my circumstance. They have to live at home for their circumstance. We had to go and take care of our own thing. Diggs had to go take care of himself. The Bills had to take care of themselves. That meant we have to part ways here. Doesn't mean they're not going to miss each other. I think there's two answers that are accurate within that. I think right now, to be honest, the way things were going, I don't think the Bills miss Stefon Diggs right now. At the same time, of course, you're going to miss Stefon Diggs because the inevitable answer is when you lose a top 10 player, whether it is Diggs at the wide receiver position or any other position where you have a player of that caliber, it is going to be missed. It's going to get misconstrued as well, the way he said it, Rico. But I think the best thing to take away from that is that Allen, from a quarterback standpoint, handled it very well in the sense that I'm instilling confidence in my team while also saying, hey, I know the obvious here. You're going to miss a guy like Diggs every time.
And here's the thing too, right? People are listening to you. Everyone's listening for the last word that comes out of your mouth. You have a platoon of dudes that are right next to that are waiting for your next signal as the general. You can't sit here and say you missed the next man's. I got my new guys right here. What am I going to talk about? It's like me saying I miss my old girlfriend. No, man, I got my girl right now. This is my girl right now. So for Josh Allen to say, yeah, I kind of, man, like put that comment back up because it's perfect from Pierre. Right? Love this that Pierre says because I think a lot of us are thinking this, right? Allen could have taken the high road for sure, like he always does. I always said he's so well media trained. For a guy, he was media trained right from the jump. When they were talking mad ish about him, he stayed the high road and continued to stay plugged in, and he's done a tremendous job doing that. Allen could have said Diggs is always going to be missed because it's generic. He's always going to be missed no matter what. He was an impactful guy to my career. To a lot of these guys, a lot of Bills fans. Bills fans love Diggs. But, you're right. Great player, great friend. He could have said that. Allen knew, and this is what Pierre said, Allen knew what the hell he was doing. He has always taken the high road. And this time he said, F it. I'm going to say how I feel. And this is probably genuinely, I can't say the first, but one of the few times that Josh Allen probably just got real and said, nah, to miss him, probably not. Because it felt organic. It felt like it just came out naturally, right? Listen, I moved from Ontario to Nova Scotia. I've lived in Ontario my whole life. I lived in Ottawa my whole life. And you go to a new city, of course, you're gonna miss your old city like crazy, right? You can just step out and you're in the capital. I'm chilling where I'm at right now. Nova Scotia, there's great things that are here. I'm not sitting here looking back. Nah, man, good times. But I wouldn't say I miss it. I'm good where I'm at right now. So Josh Allen right now is in a fantastic place. Like he said, he says, we go eat together, we hang out together, We're playing board games together. We're having dinner at each other's places. Bro, this is felt, if we've always said this is a family dynamic team, but this is, he says there's something different. There's something more family oriented this year. Now, is he in his feels? Who knows? Is it actually true? Who knows? But the season's around the corner. We're about to find out what is really good. But as of right now, I truly believe Allen feels good and doesn't miss Diggs. I think he's going to be just fine.
Let's play it one more time, just to get more of a context as to exactly the vibe surrounding how this all went down.
Can't quite hear it yet.
Can you hear it?
No, not yet.
Right.
Probably have to restart it.
Let me try one more time.
But you know what? Something else stands out to me. That mustache makes him stand more on business. There's something about these.
I'm digging the mustache,
bro. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know if it's a season, if it's this in the month of August. You know what I mean? Cats want to try this thing. Normally it's a November thing, but like this mustache that Josh is pulling, looking like a Minshew, like another version of Minshew here with the stash. Maybe that's got him a little more powerful to stand on business to say, "Yo, I'm good, man. This mustache got me manned up."
You think the stash is putting more confidence in Allen, giving him a little more confidence?
Absolutely, the stash is doing it. Somebody that can sit there and give you that look with stash and a little soul patch to go with it. He's got all the confidence.
Let me see if this plays right now. You hear it?
No, nothing. No. Let me see if I can find it.
I don't know why the audio is not playing.
Try to play it
but regardless, Pierre's making a good point here, and I'm glad he brought that up because it's another thing that I kind of noticed as well. I think that there was another way to go about this, where you could have approached it in a more diplomatic way, where you could have simply just praised Diggs and say, yeah, of course we're going to miss him, and then give the diplomatic answer and this and that. The way he said, I wouldn't say miss, definitely was a choice. I wonder if that is a sign of what we've been hoping for, what we've been getting signs of this offseason, and that is that next step in the Allen leadership progression, where Allen isn't afraid to say the things that aren't necessarily hurtful, but they're truthful. And in saying, I wouldn't say miss, I think it's beyond anything, no matter how you interpret it. Can we be fair in saying that I think it's honest right now? I think that that's an honest assessment. I think that the way that this wound up ending for the Buffalo Bills, it made you feel like at this point, when Josh Allen says this, you kind of understand that what he's saying is truthful. I think that Josh Allen right now, if you were to put him under a lie detector test and ask him, do you miss Stefon Diggs, Rico? I think the answer would genuinely be no. I think it is the honest answer. What I said was, well, I do think that it's inevitable you miss him as the player and what he brings to the team. I think when you encapsulate the whole situation, I genuinely do think that Josh Allen does not miss Stefon Diggs as it stands right now. He's going to miss the production. Anybody would. But I really do think if you strap them up to a lie detector test, I feel like the answer is accurate. They don't necessarily miss him being out on the field as it stands right now.
I agree. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you see our audio?
Are you playing it?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
No, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Neither do I.
Oh, you don't have it up. That's why. Here, try this.
Oh, duh. That's probably why.
Play it.
There we go. Is that up now?
No, it's the other one. It's this one. Hit play.
There we go.
Bring it over there. Great player. Jeff's a great player, and what he brought to this team was special. So miss is I don't know if I'd say miss. He was a guy that was reliable. You can look to. He's going to have the juice each and every day. I'm sure he's bringing it over there in Houston. So definitely, you can't say that you don't miss that. But I am very happy with what we got going on here and how.
I am very happy with I'm telling you, if he wasn't confident in the guys that he had and things were shaky and, we're not quite getting, what we need. If MVS and Chase Claypool were the only free agents that we brought in, bro, he'd be saying, hey, man, that's my guy. I love him. I miss him. Of course, I'm always going to miss him. He's over there in Houston. We're working things here. We're working some kinks out. He could have easily went that route. No, he's absolutely confident in what he's got going to Buffalo.
How hard the guys have been working. And, yeah.
It really is that simple.
I think he caught himself a little bit too there, and I'm glad he kind of because I think I knew what he meant by it, but I'm glad he explained, because what he said was what he brought to the team, the way you could just tell in his body language, the way he said it, what he brought to the team, the juices every day. You can't say you don't miss that, because that's true. That's what I had just said. You can't say you don't miss a guy like Diggs, because if you say, no, we don't miss him at all, that would make no sense. How could you not miss a guy that produced the way Stefon Diggs did for the Bills? So Allen elaborates on that, but what he meant is exactly what I took away from it. And that is, we're happy with what we have right now. And I think that that's genuine. You've seen it through the first 2 weeks. Rico, if the first 2 weeks was Keon Coleman dropping ball after ball, Curtis Samuel showing his age, Allen throwing pick after pick, you wouldn't buy it. The first 2 weeks into this camp, 3 weeks now into this camp, going into the first preseason game, I think that it's an honest answer that when you assess it, gets backed up. I genuinely think that it's backed up. I feel like right now, the answer is we don't miss Diggs as it stands right now, simply because we are satisfied with how things have been going with what we have. On the other hand, what he brought to the team, of course, will be missed just because of the type of player that he was. So I think Allen handled it really well. I will say, when he first said, I wouldn't say miss, I feel like that was almost him being, I think he catches himself in saying maybe this was a little bit too honest, in a sense that it could be misconstrued. And of course, even then it was a bit, because you take that quote out and anybody can look at it and run with it. But what he genuinely meant, I think, and I think he continued to elaborate on that, was you're going to miss a guy like Diggs inevitably. But what we have right now makes it a lot easier to not miss him. And I think that that's been backed up through 3 weeks, because we haven't heard anybody say, where the hell is Stefon Diggs? It is inevitable that he's not out on the field based on watching this team practice.
It is. And the thing is, you get tired of listening to the rhetoric of like, okay, Diggs and Allen, were they getting along? And he doesn't have to talk about that. So it's also like, no, I don't miss, because Diggs comes with the relationship that they had. Diggs comes with what he presented to the team, but Diggs also comes with answering questions about the negativity. So like, do I miss Diggs? Yeah, I miss him, but I also don't miss all the shit that came with Diggs. So in a nutshell, no. Do I miss him? I wouldn't say miss, because like when you miss something, it's something that you dearly like, that it meant something to you. Like, I missed that. I want to bring that back. Nobody talks about missing something that was not great in their life. It's all about something that was fantastic and you want that back almost. So bro, he is absolutely fine with the outcome and how things are going. And kudos, and big kudos to Brandon Beane, because Brandon Beane was like, just trust me, trust the process. We're going to move him. And obviously, you don't move Diggs without the green light from Josh Allen. Josh Allen was like, I'm with it. Do what you got to do. And I trust what you're going to do. And that he did. And look where he's at. I think he's probably the happiest he's ever been. And it's all going to play out the way we hope it plays out, where we're having success and the success doesn't leave. We continue to have success. So that's what we want. That's what we want. So missing Diggs, I think, is passe, and it's time to move on. He's doing what he's doing over there. I'm doing what I'm doing over here. And let's keep it pushing.
The point you're making, I think, is a good one, because there's more to this than just missing Stefon Diggs, the football player. And that's what Allen backs up in saying the juices that he brings, right? The production, you can't say you don't miss it. That's only half the battle. And someone mentions it down here in the comments section. And I'm looking for it right now. Kevin H. saying he's going to miss the side drama. He's not going to miss the side drama. This is one thing that I think might get overlooked here. When you're the quarterback, you have to answer for a lot of this. And how often was Allen asked about anything to do with Stefon Diggs that had nothing to do with playing on the field? Let's think about it from another perspective. Say you start a business with your good buddy. Say you start a business, and that business is booming, doing exceptionally well. It's doing better than, it ever has. Constant year after year success. But then, there's a bit of trouble in paradise between the top execs, you and your buddy who started the company, and you decide to part ways.
Yep.
Are you going to miss what that guy brought to the table for that company to succeed? Absolutely. But do you have alleviation from the stress that was brought on top of you from having to please the other party involved? Because now you're the sole owner of this business. You're confident that you can be just as productive, if not more. and you don't have to answer for somebody else beyond yourself. So from Allen's perspective, this is another reason why I think it's genuine. I think he probably has no problem not having to answer for shit that has to do with off the football field as it stands right now. This team is focused on ball right now, and more so than ever, mainly because it's such a young team, it all goes through Allen. Allen right now does not have that equal, I would say, in terms of leadership on the offense. It's Josh Allen, and that's it. It's Josh Allen and a cast of new characters. Josh Allen and Deion Dawkins, essentially, and we know the hierarchy between left tackle and quarterback. This is Josh Allen's football team. I know it always has been, but it was always Allen and Diggs. This is why we've been saying this is the biggest year yet for Josh Allen, not only to prove his capabilities as far as a quarterback is concerned without top-tier talent, but also his biggest year to take that step in leadership, as you've been pounding the table for forever, because this goes solely through him now. And I feel like there has to be a lot of weight off the shoulders of Josh Allen, knowing this is on me now. I can do things the way I want to without having to answer to anybody else. Obviously, you want to do what's best for the team and who's around you, but I don't have to make sure that I'm kind of sharing the plate, so to speak, with somebody else who's considered to be my equal in the locker room from a leadership standpoint. This is my team. We're going to do it my way. We're going to win through me. I feel like that's got to feel pretty good for Allen, not having to have that extra thing to worry about on a week in, week out basis.
So let me flip it to the other side. You know, we always got to talk about, you can't just talk about one side, you got to flip to the other side. So it all sounds great right now. We're in the off season. Everybody in the league is 0-0. All this preseason stuff means absolutely nothing. We all know that. If we go into the first 6 games and we're 2-4, the 2-4 Bills, will that question will come up again. Now, he's going to have to keep the same energy, but it'll get louder and louder and say, wait a minute, you said you were good. Do I miss him? I wouldn't say I miss him. And now it's going to be like, actually, the offense tells us you do miss him. Mm-hmm. The offense, you guys, and I'm clearly, I don't think this is going to happen. But if the offense isn't as clicking, it's not clicking and together as we thought it would be, because obviously when Josh and Diggs are really involved in their cooking, we're one of the best in the league. We were one of the best in the league, always. But like if things aren't going the way it's supposed to, Tyler Bass is missing field goals, and the clutch catch that you need from your clutch receiver isn't quite there anymore. Now that question is going to come up, and now it's going to be like, actually, survey says you do miss him. You know what I'm saying? We asked 100 people around the league to see if you miss Stefon Diggs, and that tells us that's a lie. You do, because the offense is not doing what they're supposed to do. It's sputtering. So we hope that doesn't happen. We hope that what he said this offseason, the last couple of days, he stands on it, and it actually comes out, and we're doing what we're supposed to do. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great season, but it could rear its ugly head if this offense doesn't take off. And it may not, but if it doesn't stay consistent in producing W's, because there might be some games where we may not put up 30, 35 points a game. We might just put up, 22. And if that defense is humming, and if we're winning, and yet we're starting to come together, we'll be all right. But those losses start, those games start turning to losses. That's when it's going to get louder and louder, and that Diggs name is never going to stop. And not only that, you got Diggs you we're going to have to deal with. And then and this is kind of a side note, but if the Chiefs have success and there's one name that keeps coming up, and that's Xavier Worthy, that's 2 names that the Bills are going to have to deal with. Well, you let Diggs go, and you could have had Worthy, and Worthy's doing big things over there, and you let Diggs go, and look what you're stuck with. We hope that doesn't happen, but that's going to be a narrative that is going to be played for years. I mean, we're still tied to Mahomes right now, based on the 2017, 2018 draft. So yep. It's one of those situations, man. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But the only way to nullify all this stuff is to win. Win, and win the whole thing. And then everybody can shut the hell up. That's the way I look at it.
Other thing, too, the other thing, and it's crazy to think, but it's kind of almost similar to moving on from Tre'Davious White in a bit. the blow of moving on from Tre'Davious White was not as drastic as maybe you'd thought it would be a couple of years ago. If you were to say a couple of years ago, hey, 2 years from now, Tre'Davious White's not going to be on this team. Let's go back to when Tre'Davious White was an all-pro cornerback. You'd be like, oh, that's going to be a massive blow to this team. But then he gets injured 2 years in a row. You essentially do not have Tre'Davious White on this team. I mean, I know he's officially not a Buffalo Bill in 2024. Let's be honest. The last 2 seasons, Tre'Davious White was essentially not a Buffalo Bill. He was not on the field. This team played without him for pretty much the entirety of the last 2 seasons. Yep. So when you lose Tre'Davious White, you're not hearing a whole lot of talk right now about, oh, man, Bills are really going to miss Trey Day in the backfield. The other reason why I feel like saying we don't really miss him right now, we feel comfortable, let's just take a look back to last year, because I think we got a pretty good dry run in terms of expecting stuff from this offense without production from a guy like Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs had 1 total touchdown, Rico. 1 total touchdown from the Denver Broncos game all the way to the Miami game at the end of the season. From November 13th
That's rough.
to January 7th, nearly a full 2 calendar months. 1 touchdown. Throughout that exact same time period, Rico, not a single game where he had more than 87 receiving yards. So we look across the board there. The Bills are averaging nearly 26 points a game, good for one of the best offenses in the league from a scoring standpoint. And Stefon Diggs contributed 1 touchdown to that stat line and didn't have a single 100-yard game throughout that period. Don't get it twisted. Stefon Diggs is a top 10 receiver, and as I mentioned throughout this show here thus far, you're going to miss a guy like that inevitably. It's just what comes with it. When you lose a guy as good as Diggs, you can't say you're not going to miss him. But we got to see last year what this offense looks like with Joe Brady and what this offense looks like when it's not reliant on one guy doing all the heavy lifting. These Buffalo Bills, at the end of the year, won, let's see, 6 of their final 7. Stefon Diggs had 1 touchdown in those 7 games, not a single game where he cracked triple digits in yards, Rico. So to say it's a crazy pipe dream that these Bills are going to be able to win games and score points without Stefon Diggs, it's BS. It's frankly not true.
Keep in mind now, we don't want to get all in our feels, and I know this feels like we're going right back to the Diggs Allen situation, but you know what? This is the storyline right now, so we got to talk about it. Let's keep it a buck though. There was still a presence in the name Diggs. So Diggs may not have been as involved in the offense, and everyone else was able to eat, but there was a reason everyone was able to eat, because Diggs' name still rang rang some fear on the defense. So you still had to pay attention to where Diggs was. You still had to double cover Diggs here and there. I know that he wasn't double covered all the time, but there you could roll coverage over to Diggs' side because that's Allen's favorite target. So that's one thing that we have to keep it real and say there was a reason why there was success going forward and he wasn't as involved, but everybody else got involved. Now that Diggs is gone, now we're about to find out what's good. But what I love about this is you don't know where you don't know where Allen is going to go. You just don't know. So you have to play it honest. And like we all been saying all offseason, everyone will have a chance to eat. Josh is going to be serving, and just have your plate ready, because we're going to be serving you whatever you want, whenever you want. Just be ready. Have your plate ready, because you're going to eat. So that's the beauty in this whole new beginning, is that you've got fresh faces that'll be ready to make a name for themselves. So and you got the right leader. I think he's taken that step, that leadership step. He's taking it up. I think he's taking it up a few notches in order to help this offense. And I think that he knows it. And I think that these guys are going to really, I don't want to say put some fear, but make these teams respect them without Diggs. I think that's going to happen.
And Ben's saying, get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. My feelings aren't in it, because let me just say, I've been saying this whole time. Do I wish Stefon Diggs was still on the team? Absolutely. Of course I do. But let's go ahead and take a look. The final 10 games, what my point was, is that the constant argument right now, is that the Bills are toast because they no longer have Stefon Diggs. Here's the stats. The final 10 games, including the playoffs, Stefon Diggs had 1 touchdown in the final 10 games. 1 touchdown. Highest receiving total throughout those last 10 games was 87 yards. You go to the playoffs, 52 yards and 21 yards respectively, 10 catches on 17 targets. And you look at the game against the Chiefs, 8 targets for 3 catches and 21 yards. Once again, let me preface, do I wish Diggs was on the team still? Yes. Do I think it's certainly a loss outside of the production to not have a guy that defenses have to focus on? Absolutely. My point is, everyone's trying to tell you the Bills are going to fall down at least a notch, if not 2, because you've been hearing it's going to go Jets, Dolphins, Bills, or Dolphins, Jets, Bills. What I'm trying to say is that looking at the numbers, win. 1 touchdown throughout that entire time span, 87 yards max throughout that entire time span. To think that the Bills can't succeed just because Diggs is no longer on the team, to me, that's where you lose me, because I think we saw last year when you didn't get the production that you were accustomed to getting out of Diggs, Joe Brady was able to take this team in a different direction, not only on the ground, but utilizing Josh Allen in different ways as well, playing a style of football that dominated the time of possession while also being able to put up just enough points at the end of the day to win these close games. Yes, you're a better football team with Stefon Diggs, but to say that the Bills can't succeed without him, to me, it's just simply not true.
Listen, man, you're preaching it. You're on it. And really, it's all going to come down to production. At the end of the day, will this team be able to produce? We don't have that individual in this locker room anymore. So now production is key. You have to produce in this game. You have to put W's on the board in this league. And that is what we're all going to be watching. Can the Bills win without Diggs? Period. Do I miss him in shooby boo boos nonsense? That's all out the window. Can you win without 14? And we're about to find out. And I think Allen is primed and ready to prove it. There's a lot more on the line. There's pride now. Like y'all be like somebody in the comments said earlier, not only will he have to deal with, okay, if they're not producing, they absolutely do miss Diggs. Okay, they're producing, but they could have had rookie Xavier Worthy. Could you imagine Xavier Worthy be great on that? Now you got to deal with if they're not playing well. I told you he was overrated. That exec that was talking all that mess, there's your product. He's overrated. If he doesn't have a number 1 receiver, this is the product that you get. So there's a lot laying on the line for Josh Allen to prove to this team, to his teammates, to the city of Buffalo, to everybody that, yeah, man, I'm that guy. Diggs was cool, but I'm that guy. So forget about Diggs. We're going to get this thing rolling and put all these narratives to bed. We just got to put some W's around. That's it.
And you're asking, right? You're asking, can the Bills win without Diggs? Last year, Rico, in 2023, 11-6. You might be wondering right now, what is the projected over-under for the win total for the Buffalo Bills in 2024 without Stefon Diggs? According to BetUS, Rico, here it is. The Buffalo Bills win total in 2024, the over-under is at 10.5. But if you notice, they are slightly favored, Rico. I wouldn't even say slightly, a bit significantly favored to go under 10.5. So if they go over 10.5 at plus 130 on BetUS, that would hit where they were last year. They're favored right now to win less than 11 games, which would have a worse record than they did last year. So I ask you this, Rico. We just looked at the numbers, and through those last 10 games where Stefon Diggs' production was not nearly where you would expect Stefon Diggs' production to be, the Buffalo Bills won. Let's just go ahead and take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those final 10. So with the number in mind here at over under 10.5, do you think the Bills get back to 11 wins this year without Diggs, or do you see a slight drop off because of that loss? Do you see them going at 10 wins or less?
Oh no, I'm at the 11 wins, 10 wins or more for sure. I mean, we did our prediction earlier, and we had the team at 12, and I've seen a lot of Bills content creators kind of looking to see, okay, how many wins can you see the Bills getting? A lot of us stand on around 12 to 13 wins, some at 11, but 11 and under, excuse me. I just can't see it. Something catastrophic would have to happen for us to have under 11 wins. I think we're over 11, and that's it. And if, according to my guy Pierre, it's 17-0, and that's it. No cap.
No matter what.
No matter what. It's 17-0 no matter what. We'll win the whole damn thing. That's what it is. But yeah, I see us that this bet is crazy. They're gonna pull a lot of people making some money on this thing, and the haters are absolutely going to be smashing that under 1,000%. But I think we up there, man. We up there. I think we're getting 10.5 wins, and we're gonna be rolling. We'll be rolling.
If you're like Pierre and you think they're going to go 17-0, link in the description below. 125% sign up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits via BetUS. Quick word from Mike Vick about other offerings from BetUS.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
I think I like the fact that that's at plus money, Rico. I mean, 10.5, the Bills' schedule is not easy, but I just, for the life of me, cannot envision. Once again, I have to go back to last year. If this team was going to finish with less than 11 wins, then last year was the year to do it. The fact that they hit 11 wins last year, Rico, at the midpoint being at 500 in November, that's where you lose me when everyone says they lose all confidence in this team. That's where you lose me with that lazy narrative. That's where you lose me in saying that these Bills are toast because they don't have Stefon Diggs. Yeah. Because we saw last year being pinned into as small of a corner as you could possibly imagine. They still come out on top with those 11 wins. I can't help but think we get back there again.
And here's the thing. You got now a refreshed team, a team that is refreshed. You got new faces. You got younger at some key positions. So absolutely, man, like this, we should be, as Bills fans, be excited. Just as excited last year and running into this year because of the new faces that we have on this team. It's can be nerve-wracking at sometimes, but like, if these positions, and if we trust Brandon Beane and he's going to be putting the right pieces in the right places, bro, we're always going to be contention. We're always going to be contending. And this Bills team is going to, I don't want to say surprise because we shouldn't be surprising people, but with the whole Diggs fiasco, we're going to surprise a lot of people. And we're going to shut a lot of people up and be like, what was I thinking? They're always got a chance when they got number 17 back there. What was I thinking? And that's exactly what's going to take place. 17 leads the way. We'll be all right. I can't see us faltering. But if we do, boy, oh boy, they're going to have a field day with the Bills. Field day. They're going to destroy us. They can hit us on so many topics. But 17 and the rest of this crew can shut it all down by having success this year. This year is going to be very crucial.
Speaking of number 17, as we mentioned earlier, tomorrow afternoon, preseason football kicks off, Rico. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for it. How are you feeling about preseason football? Where are you at? I know things have changed when they cut one of the preseason games down with the additional 17th game to the regular season. How do you feel about preseason in general? And the other question I have for you is, how do you feel about Josh Allen partaking in the first game of the preseason for these Buffalo Bills tomorrow afternoon?
I like it. I mean, I've always been a fan of preseason. I know there's some people that just don't even bother watching preseason. They just don't care for it. If I can't watch the full offense go 60 minutes, I'm not interested. I'm interested. I want to know who my depth pieces are. I want to see how Mitch Trubisky does. I want to see how Ray Davis does. What does Keon Coleman look like without Josh Allen throwing the football? Well, what's Dwayne Smoot going to look like? What's the backup O-line going to look like? Like, there's a lot of things that stand in place. There's position battles that you want to watch for, right? I mean, you saw, like, there's so many guys that are built off of preseason performances that can really do it. And there's some guys that really perform and end up getting cut and find another opportunity elsewhere. So I love preseason. I can't say I love it. I like preseason. I respect it. And I'm looking forward to seeing who emerges, who steps up. Is this Zach Davidson cat going to take position tight end 3? Those are the things I'm interested in. I want to see them force feed 17. Small story. When I was trying out for Team Canada, and I was more the smaller scat back, if you will, catch out of the backfield, you know what I'm saying, run in between tackles. I could slip through, give me a crease, I'm gone, right? And I remember they already knew who they're going to grab for their top two backs or so. They needed to see, okay, what is this guy from Ontario like? Let's see more. So I kept on getting more reps in practice. Ended up making the squad because I proved myself. A lot of this preseason is when you see a guy on the field a lot more, they're paying attention. They're looking. So they're going to see if this guy can crack that spot. So is it going to be Tyrell Shavers? Is it going to be KJ Hamler, right? too fun to watch, too fun to be. It's how do you not want to watch preseason and watch the whole thing, man? I'm looking forward to it. Big time interest in preseason. But what about you? Are you on the side of I could care less about preseason? It's preseason. Just stay healthy. Like where do you fall? What side of the fence are you on?
I'm kind of a fence sitter on this one. I'm a bit of both where, yeah, I'm in the camp of the stay healthy, right? I'm in the camp of, yeah, it isn't all that, it isn't all that important. But at the same time, what I do love about it is the biggest signifier that football is here. The Buffalo Bills are trotting out on the field tomorrow with their official jerseys on, playing in front of a crowd in a simulation style football game. That means football is back. And the fact that Josh Allen is going out there and playing a bit, he did say that at this point in his career, he doesn't feel that it benefits him much. So it was interesting to hear him say that because it wound up coming out that he is going to end up playing. But at the same time, I think that you can't, I don't think it, and of course, if you wind up getting hurt, then it's a gigantic issue. But I don't see the problem in letting these guys go out there and play a little bit, knock the rust off. We saw what week 1 looked like for the Bills last year, Rico, right? We saw what week 1 looked like for Josh Allen. It was as brutal of a performance as he has ever had in his career. So I know it's only going to be probably a series, maybe 2 max for Josh Allen. I can't imagine much more than that. It's going to be light work. The playbook's not going to be opened up to any extent. I have no problem going out there and dusting off the rust a little bit, knowing that when they went into New York last year to play the Jets at MetLife in week 1, Josh Allen had the worst performance, not only of the year, but maybe of his career right out of the gates. If that can mitigate that to some degree, Rico, you can't tell me that this isn't at least a little bit better than just trotting out into the season like he did last year. We can't be having that. There's no room for error because I'm telling you, the Cardinals are better than advertised. That game is not a gimme. And then you go right in to Miami, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Houston, the Jets. I mean, it is an absolute gauntlet to kick the season off. So am I a huge fan of the preseason? No, because of course it is what it is. It's not meaningful football. But I do think that with as new of a team as the Buffalo Bills have, Rico, there's probably a bit more benefit to it in a year like this year than maybe there was in years past, especially on offense, especially for a lot of these new faces catching the ball. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why Josh Allen's trotting out there tomorrow in the first place.
Yep. What are you looking for when you're looking at this, watching this preseason game? And do you watch it as an overall, okay, I'm just watching the game. I'm not really looking for anything. I just want everybody to get out there healthy. Or are you paying attention to certain schemes? Ooh, do you see what kind of play they ran there? Okay, they might bring that in the red zone. Ooh, okay, red zone's looking great. Oh, who's that number 90? I mean, what are you looking for? Where will your eyes be fixed when watching week 1 preseason and preseason altogether?
Well, it's funny because I'm definitely not looking for anything where I take away saying, oh, they better do that again in the regular season. Because, Rico, last night, I watched the New England Patriots and the New York Giants. Both those teams looked like they were ready to go on a Super Bowl run the way they were looking last night in the preseason. Just so happens that those two could probably finish 28th to 32nd in the NFL this upcoming season. That's how bad those two teams are. So you really can't take much away from it. The one thing I do like about the preseason, Rico, is there's always like 1 or 2 names where you're like, good for that dude. I'm rooting for that guy where he pops off the screen, whether it's a play on defense, right? A play on special teams, maybe a nice catch on offense. That's what I like to see. I know that happened the other night for there's a kid for the Chicago Bears who plays wide receiver. I think he had like 5 catches and 2 touchdowns in the Hall of Fame game last week. For somebody like that, you can't tell me the coaching staff's not going to look a little closer at that guy, maybe give him an extra chance that he wouldn't have had if he hadn't had that type of performance. Those are the things I like to see. From a scheme standpoint, though, I'd love to see that week 1. No, because you're not going to see anything from these guys tomorrow worth the damn as far as taking away and reutilizing in the coming, regular season here. The one thing I do like to see, though, Rico, after each game is, man, good for that dude popping off the screen. I also am interested to see, a couple of these guys that are higher up on the depth chart than maybe we anticipated. Like, for instance, Rico, go back to the depth chart here. Your boy DeMar Hamlin right now is currently safety. There's aspects of this depth chart. I mean, this is why the regular season the preseason and camp this year, it's more intriguing than it has been in years past with such a new face to this team. This is why the preseason to me is a bit more interesting. For example, Damar Hamlin being a starting safety on the most recent and I think the first depth chart of the season.
Yep.
I mean, you're looking at this right now. Anything else really pop off the page to you?
Yes.
I mean, you can't take this you can't write this in stone. I mean, right now you got Keon Coleman as a backup wide receiver. Like this isn't really saying a whole lot. But I think in other areas, Rico, it might be telling you a bit more than maybe you think.
Listen, you could look at it several ways. It's preseason. It's some bullshit. They just put a list out and away you go, right? But some of it is telling, right? And like for instance, I had it on my. Let me bring it up on my because I can't really see it from your end. So I'll try to bring it on my end here because I was talking about it just the other day. So if we're looking at the offense side of the ball, there you go, offensive side of the ball. So the Keon Coleman situation. Mac Hollins, they're loving Mac Hollins. Whether that means something or not, it doesn't. He's going to be a special teams guy. But here's what stands out to me a lot. I'm looking at that O-line. Cedric Van Pran Granger. I'd love to see what he looks like as the backup center. I'm looking forward to that, right? And we might as well get into it. Let me just take that background off of mine. But like what I'm looking for is what to look for in this preseason. I want to see what wrinkles our coach Brady's going to bring. What wrinkle are you going to bring that was different from last year? So when we do get in red zone, who do I see? Do I see Zach Davison come in? Is it a double tight? Do I see 3 tight ends? I mean, am I seeing double tight ends? Do I see him split out wide, right? In the red zone, am I seeing Ray Davis get in before anybody else? How much time is Ray Davis going to get? Those are the things I'm going to be looking for. How often will I see Kyer Elam on the field? Right? Is he gonna be manned up? Do I see him more in zone? Do I see him more man? There's a whole lot. We need to find out who the heck is gonna be kick returning. Kick return. There's a whole new scheme going on in kick return. So what's gonna take place from that? Now you got Damar Hamlin that's gonna be starting next to Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp has had a fantastic camp. Now you got Damar Hamlin that's making some noise. So now you're like, okay, hold on now. Mike Edwards, he's gonna be a sideline for a bit. We just got news that a broken scapula from our guy Bishop, he's out 6 weeks, give or take. So he's going to be missing some time. There's a potential that he might be ready for week 1, maybe week 3, depending on how ready he's going to be. So Hamlin has no choice but to get his act together. He's been in it. Now he can just let free, play free, and we're going to find out what we got out of that Pittsburgh alumni, see how he does. I mean, we do have Kareem Jackson. We'll see how that plays out. Burgess, we just signed as well. But Hamlin has a true opportunity to make this team. So we're going to be watching for Hamlin. Is he going to be playing scared? Does he come in and really get in there and get dirty? Or is he trepid? Is he playing with trepidation? Is he fearful? We're going to find out. But there's so many things for us to look at. Josh Allen, how many plays is Josh Allen going to get? Is he going to be focused on throwing it just to Keon Coleman? Man, the storyline's going to write itself. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing a lot of it. Defensive side of the ball. I don't know if you're paying attention to defense, but bro, I need to see Javon Solomon. I need to see what he's going to bring to the table. I need to see if the real deal is Dwayne Smoot really the real deal. And I want to see Dwayne Carter. I mean, the Duke in the middle. There's so many. I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for the pieces they've added. Preseason is always fun for me, man. I want to see who's going to step up and who's going to really come out and show us. Do they want to be on the squad? Curtis Samuel. That's another thing they're talking about. Is Curtis Samuel going to be kick returning? I doubt it. I don't think that's going to be.
That's another good point, though. That's another thing I'm looking for tomorrow is how this whole special team situation looks for the Bills with the new kickoff. What the strategy might be there.
Listen, we're truly going to see where they find value. Is the value there? And because they have to make a decision, especially for the kick return position, right? So Curtis Samuel, is he going to be kick returning? Well, we got to figure out if KJ Hamler can do the job, or we got to figure out is cornerback Daquan Hardy going to do the job. And I was just speaking it on the show on Wednesday. You got 2 guys that can do the job, but you have to contribute to your unit. So can I use you on the offensive side of the ball, KJ Hamler? Or is Daquan Hardy going to be someone more I'm interested in taking over the corner? If Teron Johnson can somewhat be injury prone. If he goes down, who am I going to go? Daquan Hardy, or am I going with Cam Lewis? Who do I prefer? So there's a lot of storylines in behind. So listen, man, we're getting a lot of game film. Like my man King Real said, we're going to get game tape a lot on it, and we'll see from there. There's so much, man. There's so much. I'm just looking forward to preseason. Is fun. Can't get away from it. And we will be doing the post game show together. Me and my guy Z-Bot. Are you in, Z-Bot? Post game.
I'm all in. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. I mean, it's not gonna be a full game of starters in there, but you got Josh Allen's gonna be leading the way for what? You think they give him 1 series, 2 series? What do you think they're gonna? I know they're talking maybe 1 series, but if you're a head coach, you want to see what your guys have together chemistry wise. Are you just going with 1 series, or are you gonna try to keep them for maybe 1 quarter?
I'll tell you what, I would be thrilled if we got 1 series, and I'm not saying, hey, Brady, let's see the whole deck here, but give me a series where I can get a decent idea of where Allen's going to be looking to go with on the ball for a series. If you can give me a series where I have Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, like give me a series where I can get a vibe as to what I might expect a month from now.
Get excited.
I don't care if it's 2 series or not, Rico. I want 1 quality series. I don't want a quarter worth of Josh Allen handing the ball off to Ray Davis. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about that. I want a series where I can look and say, ooh, boy, I want to see where Allen's looking on the field, Rico. If I can get that, if we can sit here tomorrow after the game and talk about that, I would be thrilled. Because that is the one thing we know throughout camp here. Like I keep saying, highlight catch from Keon Coleman, another red zone touchdown for Dalton Kincaid, Curtis Samuel over the middle. Let me see this in a game format. Let me see this in simulation style football. Give me a solid full series where I can see Allen operate with this new look offense.
No running the football? All passes?
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that at all. Although I will say I do want to see what a couple of runs off Connor McGovern look like. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of runs right up the A-gap because, I mean, this is the other thing. This offense was able to do what Joe Brady wanted it to do last year because of the production the offensive line brought to the table. Production that was not anywhere near where it was last year, the years prior with Josh Allen. This offensive line has absolutely got to deliver a similar style of season they delivered last year. So I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of runs, but we're only going to get so many plays here. So I guess, Rico, if I just got some tosses and that was it, I'd be satisfied. I would just love to see, and I know we can't take a million different concrete points from it, but give me like 3 throws and I just want to see where Allen's looking. And I want to see what kind of routes Coleman's running. I mean, I don't know how much burn any of these guys are going to get. Coleman could go out for a play for all I know. I just want to know where Allen's looking, man. Because I'm telling you, there's a lot that we have, questions about going into this season in terms of that.
You're Joe Brady. All right. And Allen gets, we get a great return from player X. Who knows who it's going to be? Great return. Your first play, you're cooking up a first play. Who are you targeting? And what's the route that you want to target this player?
Real quick, just because you said great return, have you watched any of the preseason up until now? Did you watch anything?
I've not watched the thing yet.
I'm glad you brought this up. A point I wanted to make, because great return, you might hear us say that a lot this season.
Will though? Because I haven't seen a thing. So I'm going by what you're telling me right now.
I have a very small sample size, but I caught, like, it was at the midway point yesterday of the Patriots scrimmage. I believe they were playing Carolina, I think it was. And they had scored and they kicked off. And it landed in the landing zone. The landing zone is the area in which you have to return it. If it lands in that landing zone, you have got to return it.
Yep.
Carolina almost effortlessly, Rico. Jeez. Took it to about the 40-yard line. Fielded it in the landing zone. Was able to take it up the left side of the field. The way that the blocking gets going, because you cannot initiate a block until the ball is touched by the returner, it gives that guy who's more athletic than anybody else on the field that much more of a head start to break a corner. I know it was just one or two examples that I saw, and it's going to take a while for us to really understand the impact that this kickoff is going to have. But it seems like for a team like the Bills, and this is what I thought was the most intriguing part about this new kickoff rule, it might not be all that beneficial if you're a team that has a very inept offense like the New York Giants or the Carolina Panthers or whatever. You might not notice the impact. But if you got a guy that's getting Josh Allen the ball, Rico, on the 35 or 40-yard line routinely, they're scoring 26 points a game, good for near top 5 last year in the NFL. What's that going to look like? And we don't have no idea.
If they give Josh Allen the ball at the 40,
dude, you need about 20-ish yards at least to give Bass an attempt. 25 yards.
We're going to see a lot of points on the board. That's the problem. We're going to see a lot of points on the board and more emphasis on defense. But I do want to play a clip. Baldinger was talking about the kickoff. And it's about a minute, but it was the Giants-Lions. And he was speaking on it. Let me see if I can kind of pull that sucker up here real quick and get this thing cracking. So, because I haven't seen the thing about the kickoff. And if you're telling me up to the 40, fam.
It just seems like, dude, the old kickoff, Rico, getting to the 40 was a hell of a return. I'm not saying for the 40 every time here, Rico, but what I am saying, the idea of getting to the 40 is it might become somewhat commonplace, in my opinion, the way it just seems to go. Here it is.
Let's take a look at this new kickoff rule. Already the officials have backed up the wing judges to the 20-yard line so they can see all these 19 players so that nobody moves before the ball is touched right back here at the 3 in the landing zone. All right, now everybody can go. But if you look at this return by McKenzie, like the middle of the field is wide open. If you hit that,
that's what I'm saying.
Really hit it.
Look at that.
Now he gets out to he does a pretty good job. He gets out to the 34, 35 yards.
He's out to 35. He didn't do anything. He just ran straight. He just ran straight.
Tell you, that's why it's crucial. Is it KJ Hamler or Daquan Hardy? One of these guys got to take it. You got Daquan Hardy that has a 42.5-inch vertical, 10.6 broad jump, and runs a 4.38. Bro, if he's your guy, make him your guy because that's pure explosiveness. That's right there. Let's continue with Baldy. What's got to say about this thing here?
Now, let's watch this. All right, this ball right here lands at the 32-yard line. All right, it bounces right there. Like it's bouncing, it didn't make it to the landing zone of inside the 20. So right here, the official's going to throw the flag.
Oh, boy.
Now, you know who's going to be pissed about that? Everybody in Detroit's the defense right there because the Giants started that drive at the 40-yard line if the ball doesn't get to the landing zone. And then ultimately, do you watch this right here? Like these are all middle returns, okay? Balls now fielded at the 1. Watch the middle of this field open up.
Oh, my
Like,
gosh.
look at that. Like you got somebody with speed right here. I mean, it's just these huge holes. Like, I don't know why he's cutting like there. Like that ball should have been going straight up the middle, right down the hash. Get on the moving sidewalk. But that's my coaching point to him. Anyways, it's going to lead to some big plays.
He is not.
Dude, Rico, this is going to change the dichotomy of the game, like significantly. Because I've been noticing, like you just saw with McKenzie with the Giants, Rico, he just fielded it, ran straight, and he was immediately at the 35-yard line.
I will say this, though. As Baldy's not a return guy. And I'm not going to ever say he doesn't know what he's talking about. But Baldy's not a return guy. He's a lineman guy. He's, you know what I mean? He's in the trenches. Was in the trenches. When you see an open lane like that, you got to take it. But there is a little bit of fear because what seems open closes very quickly, and you can get your lights knocked completely out. So what looks open may not be as open as you think it is, and you got to be. That's where you got to be anticipatory and knowing where you're going to make a step, how you're going to set your blockers up. Man, this is going to be interesting. So whoever we make the kick returner on this squad, we better make a great choice in who's to return this ball because vision is going to be everything, anticipation is going to be everything. And you cannot have fear. There is no fear. There's no curdling up like this. Yo, you take it. If you get your head knocked off, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But there's going to be a lot more, per se, I guess, reward than actually some problems here.
And that goes both sides. by the way.
Yeah, it goes both sides for real. Yeah, you can't listen. Now he might Trent Richardson. Now that's what the guy did. He had an open lane and he went outside, but that's called he had a little bit of fear there because he thought, man, this looks too good to be true.
Right.
Sometimes it might be with this new kickoff rule.
I think it might be, honestly. And I think you might just start seeing teams boot the ball out of the back of the end zone to avoid it. And even then, Rico, it still gives you it at the 30. So I'm just that out of everything, man. I'm dying to see what the impact this has.
Okay, so let's bring it back. So we get the ball to the 40, 35. Coach Z-Bot is calling plays. Are you going for the gusto first play? Are you going deep? Or do you do a jet sweep first? Are you going to play it conservative? If Coach McDermott's like, yo, run the ball here. And you're like, no, I ain't run the ball, man. I'm doing what I need to do. What are you doing? Who are you targeting? First play.
My favorite play on first down is something in the middle or on the out, either to Curtis Samuel or Dalton Kincaid. So my perfect first down play would be something intermediate to Dalton Kincaid or Curtis Samuel. Try to get anywhere from 5 to 7 yards. If you're able to do that, 2nd and 3, that's where I say, let's see what Keon Coleman's got on something over the top. That's what I need to see right there. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you get to 3rd and short, either an Allen run or hand it off to Cook or something more intermediate again.
We're in preseason now. Do you want to get Allen the ball and start running him already?
You're talking about like tomorrow?
I'm talking about tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
Right, so same thing then.
Allen already?
No, hell no. Allen runs once tomorrow in the preseason. I'm going to absolutely tweak
You're out of here,
his ass off the field. Yeah. I want to see the same first down play I just mentioned. Something intermediate, Kincaid, whoever. I'll double down again. Yeah. Coleman.
I'll double down.
Coleman. Yes, please. All 4 verticals. Launch one. Yep. Why not? I just want to give Coleman one chance to go up and grab it for the hell of it. Why not?
Do you keep Coleman in a little longer after the first team series goes out? Or does he go out the same time Josh Allen goes out?
Like if I'm the coach?
You're the coach. You have say.
Yes. One additional series with Trubisky.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. I'm looking forward to because for me, I want to see what Kincaid does. I want first play. I just want a nice, beautiful, I want him to just sit or just a read option. A read option where if you can sit. If you have a little room, watch me. Let's play around. I want to get him involved because if we start getting Kincaid involved early, bro, it's over for everybody else because everybody else is gonna be killing it. And then I want to see Curtis Samuel. I want to see a little bit more. Everybody talking about how great he can be and a great addition. I want to see like a nice deep route, maybe a comeback because that's a comeback. A play that Gabe Davis did a lot was a comeback. So maybe they use Mac Hollins for that. Maybe Keon Coleman is there for the comeback. I like that. I wouldn't go over the top just yet. I'd maybe a nice comeback. And then, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to this, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, why not? Plus, we get to watch Caleb Williams for the first time. We get to watch Roma Dunze potentially for the first time. It's a fun one tomorrow, for sure. I'm excited about it. And I think that, at the end, when we get to sit down together and talk about it, I'm hoping we at least get a couple of interesting things to talk about, and I feel like we will.
Do you have a off-season sweetheart where you're like, man, I need this guy to make this squad, or somebody you've been paying attention to and you're looking forward to and you want to see a little bit more of, and that's your sweetheart. That's your off-season sweetheart where you're like, okay, I'm looking forward to this guy. And you may not.
My off-season sweetheart, and it's not like a fringe guy make the team. My off-season sweetheart this whole time, the guy that I've been most interested in just because I feel like the potential is being overlooked simply based on his past and what he's been working with. It's been Curtis Samuel. I'm super excited to just see what this guy is capable of with a quarterback like Josh Allen. We pound the drum on this all the time. The John Brown effect, the Cole Beasley effect, even the Stefon Diggs effect, the list goes on and on. I'm excited to see what that looks like because I feel like when you hear Curtis Samuel, it's easy to be like, whatever, washed up older receiver. This is a guy to me when they initially got him and you go back and look at who he's played with his best year, what was it? He's surrounded by next to bottom barrel quarterback talent throughout his whole career, right?
Not great.
This is a guy to me that immensely looking forward to seeing what the impact can be, because I think that the ability for this guy to have the best year of his career is more likely than it being closer to being one of the lower level ones of his career, simply based on him playing alongside of Josh Allen. That is my guy. And the fact that this offseason, right out of the gate, we heard that the relationship on the field seemed to be blossoming in a way that nobody could have anticipated this soon. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about Curtis Samuel. How about yourself?
I'm with you, man. I like Curtis Samuel. I have really, and it's not like a new guy. I can say I'll give you two people, like a new guy and kind of a guy that's already on the team. I really want to see what Kincaid is going to. I'm excited about Kincaid. I really want to see what Kincaid is how he's going to elevate this team altogether. And I think that this could really honestly be such a budding relationship between Kincaid and Allen. Could be a Pat Mahomes / Kelsey. That's how good and confident I feel about these two going at it. I think they're going to be freaking amazing, to the point where in fantasy, I might draft Kincaid, you know what I'm saying, the top 3 rounds. Maybe 4. That's how great I feel about Kincaid. That's number 1. Number 2, maybe someone that nobody's really paying attention to, and you're wondering what's going on. And listen, I could go with, I'm not looking at Shavers per se on the offensive side. I'm more looking on the defensive side. I was like, do I want to go offense or defense? But this Hardy character, I'm interested to see what he does. He presents himself as a dual threat, because if he's good enough to make the team defensively, and he's now been able to play a little bit of boundary, a little bit of inside, and doing pretty much what Cam Lewis does, and you can return the football, Daquan Hardy is someone that I'm looking forward to seeing. Hamlin would be one as well. Not a sweetheart per se, but I kind of I want to see where
100%.
Where you stand at, bro. Like, are you ready? Are we looking at someone that could be really truly that good? We'll see. We shall soon see. But Daquan Hardy, I'm looking forward to seeing. Javon Solomon, I'm really looking forward to seeing, and most importantly, Ray Davis. I need Ray Davis to show me that he's got the number 2 spot locked down, because I know Ty Johnson's hurt, and I know he's going to move up upon James Cook and some of his carries. I know he will, but James Cook is going to be that guy. But Ray Davis, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got and what he's going to bring to the table. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be really fun. I got as you're looking up on Twitter there, I got Dan Brown. What up, Dan Brown? He comes in and says Curtis Samuel could low key have 1,000+ season potentially in his first year with a legit quarterback. Also, Hollins could low key be nice. There's no low key. Hollins is building great chemistry with Allen. So how much time he gets on the field, I mean, there's only so much you can cook, and there's only so much you can give to one player. Everyone's going to have a chance to eat. But Hollins definitely going to be in there. Chase Claypool, who knows how that's going to work out. There's a lot of storylines going on with that receiver spot. We'll see.
And Curtis Samuel, I know everyone's saying he's 27. I know, but you also forget he's going into his 8th season. It just feels like he's an older receiver because he's been bounced around in shitty environments for his whole career. It just kind of feels like that ages somebody more than being a prominent, well-known receiver in a good situation. I feel like when you're on the Panthers and the Commanders your whole career, it tends to age you as far as public perception is concerned. And I would tend to agree with that, because it just feels like he's been around for longer. But the maxed out season, right, for Curtis Samuel, 851 yards in 2020 with the Panthers, I believe. Who the hell was it? Sam Darnold at the time playing quarterback? Maybe. I don't even know. Who the hell was playing quarterback at the time for Carolina? I mean, that just goes to show you the situation, by the way. I mean, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? But that was 851, right, on 77 receptions with the Carolina Panthers. So back to the point here Dan's making. 1,000-yard season. Is it the floor? No. But I think that to say that it could possibly be the ceiling, if not a little lower, I don't see why not. Because this is a guy that I just think potential has not been tapped into based on who he's played with.
Here's a question coming from Marco. Question: who's the odd guys out at receiver? Immediately is MVS for me. Immediately.
By the way, the quarterback was oh, is it?
For me, what we
quarterback, by the way, for the Panthers that year was Teddy Bridgewater. I was going to
There
say
you
it was
go.
Teddy
Teddy-
Bridgewater in 2020 for the Carolina Panthers.
Totally forgot.
So
Totally forgot.
there you go.
So
Yeah, there you
who
go.
do you see as the odd man out in the receiver spot? I mean, the top 4 receivers: Samuel, Keon, Shakir, and Hollins. We'll say Hollins because he's really climbed up the ladder here. Now you got receivers 5, 6. Who's the odd man out? And of position 5 and 6, you got Shavers, Hamler, MVS, Claypool.
Well, you'd have to say Claypool. I mean, unfortunately, he's been hurt the whole camp. How are you supposed to rely on a guy that you already? I mean, right when the Bills signed him, the question was, is he just going to be a camp body? And he hasn't even been that. Unfortunately for Chase Claypool, I don't know how you go into the season expecting him to be on the roster, having basically not participated in the camp here.
Yep.
MVS, I feel like we've heard a bit more into camp than we did in the beginning of camp. I could see where you're coming from there. The Shavers situation is interesting. I would have to say Claypool right now would be the easy choice as far as the one that's going to be on the outside looking in. I also am wondering, Rico, what the situation is going to be at the return position. That might make us understand a bit more what the situation at wide receiver is going to be. Are they going to have a guy who's already playing wide out go back there and return it? Are they going to go at the corner position like we talked about a little bit earlier? But I could see MVS. I mean, if it came down to him or Shavers, I mean, which way do you think that they would lean? I mean, we'll go back and look at the depth chart here, and I know this isn't anything set in stone yet, but obviously you have Chase Claypool all the way at the end of the list here.
Yep. I don't know, brother.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
To me,
you also got Shorter as well, by the way. I don't think we mentioned.
Well, there's good reason why we didn't mention Shorter because he has absolutely done.
You got to remember, Justin Shorter was like preseason MVP before camp started. Everybody was thinking Justin Shorter was going to come in and be the next Khalil Shakir out of nowhere. So
we thought a whole lot of things. But here's one that I think that we could kind of switch. I mean, I don't know if you want to hit Bills more or do you want to hit on topics because we got other topics that we need to hit on.
Yes, we do. But real quick, though, just to answer your own question, what are you thinking there as far as odd man out? You still thinking MVS?
Odd man out. I'm looking at MVS. I think he might be the odd man out if Chase Claypool, because Claypool's a really good option for the odd man out. MVS, financially, we're tied to him. $2 million dead cap if we cut him, and he's got $1 million guaranteed. So we gave him money. Claypool, you can just cut him, and it's a day. So that is why I don't know why people just don't pay attention to preseason. Preseason is going to allow you to see a whole lot. Is maybe Chase Claypool comes in and has a monster preseason, and we're like, okay, so he's got something.
Yeah,
we got to hold on to this thing, right? So we'll see. It's all about opportunity. Can you seize your opportunity? And Shavers might come in and say, you guys were paying attention to me from the beginning. I'm going to prove to you that you guys should continue to pay attention to me, and I'm going to prove that I can make this roster. And if he does, we got something special on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say almost like a touchdown Jesus that we had on the squad, right? I didn't think he was going to make it, but he had some good preseason, and Bob's your uncle. You got a spot, special teams. That's what got him money.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. Overall, too, though, if I look at the whole team, a person that gets cut where you're like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. I mean, you saw who got cut from the Patriots.
Yes, Juju gone today.
Juju cut. They just signed his ass a year ago. So they had enough of his slow ass in the slot. We ain't doing it, right? So now I'm looking at this whole team. Who is the odd man out? Surprise cut. It's tough to see a surprise cut. Maybe Balin Spector, maybe, depending. But I think Balin Spector might be. I think he might stay on the squad. I'm trying to look at who is a surprise cut on this team, and it's just not many surprises. Like I said, 80 to 85% of the team is already set. It's about depth pieces and who it is. But a guy like Juju's, I mean, unless we're in Patriots camp, we probably saw the writing on the wall. But as of right now, this is where we're at. So for me, if I'm looking at odd man out, MVS on the receiver spot, overall as a team, I mean, I can't see Hamlin. We're not in the position to cut Hamlin. So Hamlin's making that squad. Unless he does so poorly in preseason where we're like, this ain't it.
Yeah, but with the injury, right? With the injury to Bishop, you just have to wonder if that basically answered that question in itself because of the fact that that's going to be longer than we anticipated. I was under the impression that was only going to be a 2-week or so injury. And turns out not to be the case.
Yeah.
But I think MBS, Rico, I think MBS might be safe just because I think we've seen enough from him in years past for the Bills to want to hang on to him. Plus, like you said, financially incentivized to keep him. But I would say that Chase Claypool, to me, that's just right now, how could you feel comfortable keeping him? You have no reason to.
Here's your surprise cut. Quentin Morris.
Oh, really? We've been seeing that's been a battle for tight end 3 there. That's a good one.
Quentin Morris might be your surprise cut where they just really love what Zach Davidson brings to the squad. They like his size. They like that he can get downfield. And, listen, we got him on the cheap. We got him on the low. Now, obviously, the advantage is Quentin Morris, but I could totally see them saying, you know what? If I'm looking at the price, I'm looking at what they bring to the table and where we can use one more than the other. Bro, give me Zach Davidson. So Quentin Morris might be that surprise cut. And it's not really surprising because it's not like a big name. He's tight end 3. So, but it's still something nonetheless. So we shall see how that all plays out.
We're on the topic of wide receivers, Rico. That's been the topic in general surrounding the NFL, Rico, as we've been trying to fill the void between now and the regular season kickoff, Rico.
Yep.
It's been nonstop chatter about the wide receiver, and it's been pretty much 2 in particular, especially this last week. 1 for the last forever, it seems. More recently, a bit more heat on the end of CeeDee Lamb. But we'll start with the bigger topic as of the last couple of months here, and that's Brandon Aiyuk. What do you make of this whole situation? This past week, it felt like he was going to be gone, and Christian McCaffrey seemed to have a Freudian slip where he's like, my former teammate. I don't know if you saw that clip. He's talking about former teammate and referring to Brandon Aiyuk. We thought he was going to be moved as early as this past week to either maybe the Steelers. He said no flat out to the Patriots, which, by the way, if you needed any more testament as to how down bad New England is right now, people are actively saying no in a situation where all this guy wants to do is go and seem to maximize on his money. That's how bad of a situation New England seems to be dealing with right now. But Brandon Aiyuk, Rico, we thought he was going to be moved. Now, all of a sudden today, it comes out that he's having more serious talks about a long-term extension with the San Francisco 49ers. We've had this situation almost yearly when it comes to a receiver and a team's relationship, trying to get things figured out. And then, of course, for us Bills fans, we just dealt with the departure of Stefon Diggs. When you're watching this Brandon Aiyuk situation kind of unfold, do you think the juice is worth the squeeze as far as what has unfolded in terms of what he thinks he's worth and the fact that nothing's been done up until now?
Is the juice worth the squeeze? And that's the real question. I think that's what San Francisco's asking themselves. Is it worth it? Is he worth it? So I'm looking at what Brandon Aiyuk was able to do. And he really came on last year. He had a very good year. 75 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 7 touchdowns, averaging almost 18 yards a reception.
I believe he was an all-pro last year.
Listen, man, he was a solid. I don't know. Was he an all-pro last year? I can't remember. But that's 8. That's 15th in average reception per. He was 7th in yards, and he was tied for 31st with 75 receptions. All right, and you're up. Obviously, you're going up against a team. You're with a team that's pretty solid. But for his career, I'm like, okay, so what's the deal? Like, you want to know what the deal with Brandon, and he had a great, solid career. I mean, listen, San Fran. He's been with San Fran his whole career. 60 receptions his rookie year, 56 his second year, 78 his third year, and then 75. But he really broke out the last 2 years. He had 1,000 yards receiving in 22, and then 1,300 in 23. So he's like, pay me. I'm ready to be paid. Now, here's where I think he fumbled the bag. You have an opportunity to have a fresh new start, be receiver number 1, and be the difference. Okay, it's in New England. You know they're rebuilding. You know they've got hella money under the cap. They're going to have draft capital. You don't have Bill Belichick that can't draft for shit. So, like, why not take the bag, get $32 million, and go to New England? But this brother said, no, I don't like what they're doing over there in New England, and especially at that quarterback position. I ain't feeling it. You don't know that yet. They drafted Drake May with great anticipation that he's going to be solid. If you have to grow with him for a year or two and he becomes a guy like Josh Allen, bro, what do you mean? Yo, you messed the bag up. I get it. If you have the opportunity to get more money with San Fran and stay with San Fran, you got Brock Purdy, CMC, then you're great. You stay where you started. But fam, you have an opportunity to be receiver one, target number one, because you're not target one when you go to San Fran. You got CMC, you got to deal with Kittle, you got to deal with Debo, and who I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing one more person that he's battling with to get touches. So like, dude, take the money. Now, you might feel different. The chat might feel different. What do you do if you're Brandon Aiyuk? Did he make the right move by skipping out and taking the money, or he's like, I'm looking for a better situation and San Fran is where I want to be, pay me? What are your thoughts? Tell me what you think.
Here's the current situation. BetUS actually has the odds up for where his next team could potentially be, if not the San Francisco 49ers. Here's how it's laid out. These are the updated odds as of today. The favorite would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are kind of in a quarterback purgatory right now. They don't know if it's going to be Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. But if Brandon Aiyuk goes to the Steelers, he is immediately that wide receiver one, like you were just talking about. If you look at all these teams, really, that's pretty much what he's going to be. Second in line, the Commanders, then the Browns and the Jaguars. So the odds, according to BetUS right now, Rico, are essentially telling you that if he does leave, 3 AFC teams, meaning that the AFC would welcome in yet another top-tier weapon. So you look at those teams, and inevitably, Brandon Aiyuk would be the wide receiver one on all those teams. Here's how I see it. I look at all those teams, right, that BetUS has in front of us in terms of the favorite to land Brandon Aiyuk. All those situations, none of them is worth making a couple $1 million more, Rico, to forego playing with the San Francisco 49ers. I know that I am not in the position to sign this check. I'm not in the position to make this generational money. Therefore, it's tough to speak 100% accurately on what exactly I would do with all that money put in front of me and how I would want to operate in terms of which way do I want to go. But sitting here right now, the way that my mentality is, I would imagine that it would mean more to me to take a bit less money and play with maybe the best roster in the NFL than it would to go and play in Pittsburgh, who hasn't won a playoff game in forever, to go and play with the Commanders, who I know that they're trending in the right direction with Jaden Daniels, new ownership, new coach, new GM. But the Commanders have been a dumpster fire for the last decade plus. It's been a mess. Cleveland Browns, what the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson? I mean, this year is put up or shut up to me for Deshaun Watson. Doesn't go well this year. I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. We're going to look back.
Money.
That's what I'm telling you, Rico. We're going to look back, man. This is going to be one of the worst contracts ever signed in the history of sports, Deshaun Watson, if it doesn't pan out. And then Jacksonville, I wouldn't mind going to Jacksonville, actually. If I'm Aiyuk, I wouldn't mind. I like Doug Peterson a lot. Trevor Lawrence, it's, to me, out of all these quarterback situations, it's probably the best situation to be in. Plus, I think that they have a pretty solid roster in Jacksonville. You have to imagine it's going to be a better situation than it was last year. They're just too good to have a downfall like they did at the midpoint a season ago. But Rico, even with that said, all these teams, if I stay in San Francisco, I mean, the last few years, you have been a Super Bowl contender year in and year out. You're playing with the best offensive-minded head coach in the league outside of Andy Reid. You're playing on a team that is going to compete every single season. You're playing with a team that has elite talent surrounding you that's going to be able to elevate your game. You're going to be in a situation that people would dream of being in their entire career. To me, that's worth a bit more than going and taking more money to play with an organization that I might get lost in the weeds in. I think if he goes to Pittsburgh or if he goes to the Commanders, it might get lost. You know, his career, his stardom, it might get lost. If you stay on San Francisco, I know as you were mentioning, you might take a fraction down or two because you have to share the wealth with CMC, with Kittle, with Debo Samuel. I get all that. But at the same time, I also think that in my career, I want to be able to look back. I'm going to have a ton of money regardless. I want to be able to look back and know that I was in the best situation imaginable. That's why, for me, man, I would want to work something out with San Francisco. And I think that's also the reason why he didn't go to New England. It has to be. Because if he wanted to, he could have. He would have made more money. But don't you think you'd be in a miserable situation, Rico, going from what the Niners have going on to what New England's got going on right now? Is it worth it to you?
Don't you want to be somewhere where you're wanted? You want to be somewhere where you wanted. So we've been doing this dance, Mr. Lynch. We've been doing this dance together, Mr. Shanahan. Sign me. You saw what I've done the last 2 years. I'm a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. I gave you 7 touchdown receptions, and you were still targeting Debo, CMC, and I'm still able to be a productive member of the squad. Yo, do you want me here or not? Now, here's a question. Do they value him at $30 million a year? Is he $30 million worth? Do you think he's $32 million worth?
See, this is what I'm getting at. Like, I don't think he should take bottom barrel to stay with San Francisco. I'm saying if he looks at himself as 32, I would take 28 to stay in San Francisco. You see what I'm saying?
All right. Put that Bet US up back again. Do you still have it up there?
Yes.
Give me the Commanders. You put him on the Commanders team. That Commanders team would be a definite contender in the NFC. Look at this roster. Let me try to show you this roster here. Let me just try to share my page here, yo. You can take yours down there, good sir, and let me share what I got for you, because I'm looking at this Commanders roster, and you put Brandon Aiyuk on there, bro. That could be a nasty combination. I'm just gonna present this screen here. And
are you willing to play with a rookie quarterback, though? That's what you have.
Jaden Daniels is nice, though.
Huh?
Jaden Daniels, and that's the big thing. Jaden Daniels he's getting great reviews. He's smart. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. And when you look at, perfect. You guys can see the screen. So when you look at, listen, how do you not want to play with Terry McLaurin? You play with Jahan Dotson, and you got De'Ami Brown, and now you add in Brandon Aiyuk with a revamped and put together offensive line. Then you got yourself a quarterback, because that was what they were missing. They were missing a freaking quarterback. And now you have yourself a solid RB with Brian Johnson. You got Austin Eckler that can catch out of the backfield. Bro, what are we talking about here, man? This is where you go, and they're going to pay you. They got the money. You got Zach Ertz as your tight end. John Bates. Come on, man. And that defense is actually pretty damn solid. Deron Payne, Allen Johnson. You got you got Fowler that just got signed. And you got Wagner and free agent Frankie Louisville from Carolina. Bro, man, you go straight to the Commanders. Quit playing games, San Fran. I know you want to stay in the Bay Area, but you can be that guy in Washington. And now you're going up against the Packers. Excuse me, not the Packers. You're gonna be saying the Packers. The Giants. You're going up against the freaking Dallas Cowboys. That's a hot mess with Jerry Jones. We'll get into that in just a little bit. And the Eagles. Come on, man. Take the Commanders deal. They have the money, and they got a young quarterback, and you could build with that. I don't see why not.
If I'm going back to the Bet US list, Rico, and I'm looking at the Jags at plus 400, and I'm Brandon Aiyuk, and I want the best of both worlds, I'm going to Jacksonville. If you look at this roster, right, you got Lawrence, Etienne, Christian Kirk. You just added Gabe Davis, of course, Brian Thomas Jr., Evan Ingram at the tight end position.
Hey.
Not only that, Rico, but if the emphasis, because he didn't go to New England for one reason, and that's it's going to be brutal. I'm not going to New England. I don't care how much you pay me. It's going to be an absolute train wreck playing for the Patriots. I don't want to be a part of it. If I want the best of both worlds, if I want to compete and I want to get paid, I go to Jacksonville. I'm on a damn good roster. I'm going to compete. On the other hand, and I find this valuable as hell, and we'll talk about it in a minute when it comes to CeeDee Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
No income or state tax.
Boom.
In Florida.
That's it.
So if I want to get paid, maybe I take a bit less than the Commanders would give me. Maybe I take a bit less than the Steelers would give me. Maybe I take a bit less than the Browns would get me, whatever. In all of those states, I'm paying income tax. I'm also paying a hell of a lot of income tax in California, one of the higher tax rates in the entire country. If I'm picking any of these teams, Rico, plus 400 with the Jags, I might not make as much money depending on what they're willing to give me, but I will in the long haul when it comes to the tax situation. And if you're asking me, I'm probably playing on the best roster of the bunch when it comes to those 4 teams on the screen.
You can't go wrong with the Jags. Jags would be an interesting one. So with the Commanders, with a young quarterback, the Browns, I would steer clear away from the Browns. I want nothing to do with them. And Steelers, I'm not even sure I want anything to do with the Steelers because, and from what I understand, the San Francisco, whether this is true or not, they're looking for a receiver back. So if I'm trading you Brandon Aiyuk, I want something back in return. So
right,
you go to the Jaguars, they're probably going to tell me, give me Christian Kirk. So I mean, It's not a bad thing either or, but very interesting nonetheless. They might say, yeah, well, I'll give you De'Ami Brown. I mean, it's not the same, but if I go to the Commanders, I'll give you take Jahan Dotson. So it's gonna be Brandon Aiyuk and Terry McLaurin. Bro, that's a nasty duo. It's a nasty duo. But listen, state tax makes all the difference. So I like
difference to me.
Big difference. Huge difference.
If you're like me and you like the Jags for Brandon Aiyuk, if you're like Rico and you like the Commanders, link in the description below. 125% sign up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits via BetUS. Quick word from Mike Vick, and then we're going to talk about a whole other wide receiver situation and an ownership that might be the most popular the league or sports has ever seen, but it's really starting to get to the point where if you're a Cowboys fan, I don't know how you're handling this anymore.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Rico, you know I like to look at everything that happens in the league from the perspective of the Buffalo Bills. How would I feel about a situation if it was happening with the Buffalo Bills? Well, as you know right now, with the Dallas Cowboys, who have been the definition of mediocrity in the NFL for the last however long, basically since I've been alive, they've been a team that you can guarantee will go into the regular season. They will compete. They will be visually one of the better looking teams in the sport. And when push comes to shove, they will lose every single time without fail, more than likely in embarrassing fashion. Yet they are as relevant as they ever have been, and they will continue to be because of none other than Jerry Jones. The Cowboys right now, as it stands, right, last year, win the NFC East, looking damn good, go into the postseason, and they get the doors blown off them by a first-year starter in Jordan Love at home against the Green Bay Packers. The game was over at halftime. Now you go into this year, Rico, and you have contract situations for your best players. None of them have been figured out. They need to pay Dak and extend him. Hasn't happened. He's already talking about the idea of, well, you know, some of the greatest in the game have played for other teams, so I'm starting to come around to the idea that that might have to happen. You got Micah Parsons, maybe the best defender in the entire sport. They haven't extended him. And then, of course, CeeDee Lamb, the whole offense goes through CeeDee Lamb. It seems like all of their offensive production through the air stems down to him. He has not been paid. Well, Jerry Jones was asked about this situation, the contract situation surrounding CeeDee Lamb, Rico. And with less than a month before kickoff, Jerry Jones, who throughout the offseason said he was all in on the Dallas Cowboys and proceeded to make 0 moves for this team, Rico, he says, I have no urgency in getting a deal done. And CeeDee Lamb, quote, tweets the report of that quote from Jerry Jones and says, LOL. Rico, if this was the Buffalo Bills, what are you saying right now on Rico and Bot in the evening tonight? What are you saying about ownership and general management, since he is also the GM of this team? Where are you at right now if you had to deal with this, if this was your fan, if this was your team that you were rooting for as a fan?
Yo, get this old man out of here. That's exactly what I would say. Give it up. In my opinion, for if you want to be the leader of anything, you have to be of sound mind. You have to be competent enough. You have to be able to prove that you can make good decisions. And if you want to lead this country, aka your country, the U.S., you cannot be. I see a lot of senates. I see a lot of governors that are like pushing 100 years old, still in leadership. They're not even all completely there. They're still living. They're still living in the past sometimes, and they're still. McConnell, whoever this McConnell guy, how old is that man? This man froze up multiple times on camera and screen and ready to talk. Now, I'm not saying Jerry Jones is there. Jerry Jones seems to be vibrant. He seems to be moving. But if you're telling me that you have no urgency to pay your number one receiver on your team when a short couple months ago, we're all in. How do you present to your fan base that you're trying to win the Super Bowl when you have a pending quarterback that you don't know if he's going to be on the squad next year? He's trying to get paid 60 mil plus, whatever the case is. The number one target that he needs to hit for you to have success, you have no urgency to pay. Who in the heck are you throwing the football to if it's not CeeDee Lamb? Let's take a look at the roster for the Dallas Cowboys here, folks. So CeeDee Lamb not being
good grief.
You got Brandon Cook. Okay, Brandon Cooks. You got Jalen Tolbert. You got Kevontae Turpin,
Thank God he got Zeke back. That's no wonder there's no urgency. He's got Zeke back.
Cam Johnson, Kelvin Herman, Racing McMath. I don't even know if that's a real name, right? Tyrone Billy Johnson, Ryan Flournoy, right? The rookie. Dude, cut it all the way out, Jerry Jones. Cut it all the way out. I have no urgency. And you think that he's going to have any urgency to step back on the field and play for your ass? No.
Oh, my God.
He's going to be Jerry Maguire. What's that receiver's name in the movie Jerry Maguire? What was his name again? He's going to say, show me the money. You guys in the chat know what I'm talking about. What was the receiver's name? Tidwell? Was his name Tidwell? I can't remember it called. Show me the money. Because if you ain't showing me the money, you ain't going to see me on the field, my guy. Show me the money, Jerry Jones. I'm all in. I'm all in. Bullshit, you all in. You're out of your mind is what you are. So this is another thing. GMs being owner at the same time, cut that shit out. Be an owner and stay owner. Do not mix the two. You saw how disgusting it could be when a head coach and GM do the same role together with Billy Belichick. I'm saying Billy Belichick. Bill Belichick. Billy B. So Jerry Jones, utter disaster. You're going to screw a whole lot of Dallas fans. They're already not a very liked fan base in the first place. And now you're doing this? Boy, they're going to roast your ass. I got no urgency to pay my number one receiver. That is cracked out is what that is to me. What say you? Talk to me on Jerry Jones and what he's doing to this fan base and this team.
You know how lucky we are that at times you forget that Terry Pagula even owns this team? Like, you can genuinely at times just forget who the hell owns the Bills. I know Sabres fans don't feel the same because the Sabres have been brutal while the Bills have been ascending ever since Terry Pagula bought both teams. I get it. But you know how lucky we are that there's absolutely no meddling? And if there is, which of course every owner wants to have a say, they own the team. But even if there is, you know how lucky we are that we have no idea about it? This is Brandon Beane's team. When you think about the identity of the Buffalo Bills, it's Josh Allen, Brandon Beane, and Sean McDermott, not Terry Pagula. And that's the way it should be. When you think about the identity of the Dallas Cowboys, it's 90% Jerry Jones and 10% everybody else who runs the organization. If I was a fan of this absolute ongoing dumpster fire, I would lose my mind. I would have to be thrown into a padded cell rooting for this team. I don't know how you can deal with it, especially the way he says it. Like when he says, I have no urgency, and they're all laughing. Well, what do you have urgency for, Jerry Jones? You weren't urgent to re-sign Dak. You weren't urgent to get an extension from Micah Parsons. You're not urgent to re-sign the best player on your offense. And if you lost him, Dak ain't going to be putting up second running in the MVP numbers. I promise you that. You're not urgent to win a Super Bowl because you haven't been anywhere close to it. What are you urgent for? I don't understand how this team, who has been in the brightest spotlight that you could possibly be in for as long as I have been alive, I don't understand how a guy who is not getting any younger has a team around him that is capable of winning the division, that is capable of going into the playoffs and being a team that can compete. How do you not have the urgency to try to go over the top? There was no urgency to try to look in deeper. I mean, as it stands right now, Mike McCarthy's going into coaching this year without an extension either. There was no urgency to refigure out Mike McCarthy. There was no urgency to move off of him or give him the vote of confidence to go on with him. Mike McCarthy's basically coaching for his job again this year. What is the incentive for the Dallas Cowboys this year to go out and do well? Dak's going to get paid by somebody. CeeDee Lamb would get paid by somebody. And all 32 NFL teams, or 31, I should say, outside of Dallas, would give a blank check to Micah Parsons. So what the hell are the Dallas Cowboys doing? I, for the life of me, Rico, cannot understand how a guy that becomes a billionaire, a businessman billionaire, is this inept when it comes to dealing with the things that you would think a billionaire businessman would be an expert at. It makes absolutely no sense to me.
The problem is you have guys like Jerry Jones, and there are many owners that are like this, that have an ego. And his ego is larger than the Dallas Star. It really is. It's the ego. Like, you're not putting your ego aside. Your ego is at the forefront. And you're saying to these guys, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. No, the fuck I'm not. I am absolutely not going to. You are going to pay me or I am playing. And there are 31 other teams that would love to have me. So when Dak Prescott's got no one to throw to, and he's in the last year of his contract and may not even come back, bro, you're going to put this franchise in the dirt. Bro, you have an opportunity to clean this thing up right now, Jerry Jones. And your son needs to tell you, Dad, lay off. Lay off, pay this brother, pay this guy, get these guys back together again, and let's do this, because we can't have the Commanders, the Eagles, or the Giants jump us. If for some reason Daniel Jones catches fire and Malik Neighbors and him start lighting shit up, bro, it's gonna be a problem.
And the longer he waits, the price goes up. The price goes up. Tyreek Hill just got paid. Waddle got paid. Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid. The price goes up and up, and the same thing's happening with Dak, right? Tua just got paid. Trevor Lawrence, all these guys are getting paid. And now Dak is inevitably going to be the next guy to get $60 million. And I know the jury's out on Dak. I'm not a huge Dak guy. I think he's an NFC version of Tua. At the same time, if it's the same situation in Miami, if you lose Tua or if Dallas loses Dak, you might not be a Super Bowl team with them. You're not a playoff team without him, though, the way it's currently structured. You don't have anybody else. And maybe they're hitching the wagon to Trey Lance. Maybe that's the master plan here. I have absolutely no idea. But what blows my mind is that with Jerry Jones, what kills me about him is that he basically is of the belief that the Dallas Cowboys, the ability to play for the Dallas Cowboys is such a luxury that these players should basically bow down and be willing to take a fraction of what they deserve because they're playing for Dallas. Now, Here's where I want to back him up a bit. I think...
Back him up? Talk to me on this one.
Here's where I want to back him up, and here's where I don't understand how he goes about it. If I'm CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, I 100% would be willing to play for the Dallas Cowboys for a chunk of change less than I'd be able to play anywhere else. And here's the reason why. If I'm Dak and I can get $60 million from the New England Patriots, or I can get $52 million from Dallas, I'm taking the $52 million from Dallas without even thinking twice about it. Why? Once again, no state or income tax in Texas. That's huge. The other reason, Dallas is a brand where you are going to have brand deals for the rest of time because you were associated with the Dallas Cowboys in a prominent spotlight. 100%.
True.
Here's the issue. Jerry is so pompous about that fact that you are going to make more money because of no taxes, and you're going to probably make more money after your career being associated with the Cowboys. He's so pompous about it that I think it's a turnoff to players, where he's essentially saying you should expect, or you should be thanking me for being a Dallas Cowboy, and therefore you should be taking less. If behind closed doors, Rico, in negotiations, if I'm Jerry and I'm saying, hey, here's the deal. You and I both know you're going to make more here with less taxes. You're going to make more here with brand deals being associated with Dallas. What do you say we work something out? That's not how he goes about it. He basically parades around saying being a Dallas Cowboy is a privilege. Therefore, you should fork over your fair share of your earnings in order to be a part of this. That's the vibe I get from him. And I think that he doesn't realize that the way I think he sees it, I think that he sees it as these players should love being a Cowboy. But the way he goes about it, I feel like he doesn't realize that these players anymore, they don't really give a shit. Because with the way that social media is nowadays, the popularity comes from everywhere. I don't think people care as much about being a Dallas Cowboy as they once did.
Here's the big thing, right? These owners like Jerry Jones, are so used to being, like you said, in such control. And you should be lucky to play in Dallas. Here's the thing. The movement is swaying towards the players. The NBA is run by the players. Everyone knows that shit's run by the players. And you're starting to see a little bit more leverage go towards players in the NFL. You're starting to see receivers get the most money they've ever been getting. Quarterbacks are getting paid beaucoup dollars. Cornerbacks get money. Centers again, like everybody's getting money these days, right? You're getting big TV deals. Of course, these players are going to want some. So, like, I don't give a damn about no Dallas. You know what I care about? Generational wealth from my family. All that. I'm going to get my endorsement deals no matter where, because I am a star. Wherever I go, I'm going to get my deals. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen is in a small market team, Buffalo. He's getting commercials. He's making big time, Beats commercials, all that stuff, bro. The money's going to come. The fame is going to come. All that stuff's going to come. I don't need to be in Dallas. And that's what CeeDee Lamb going LOL. He's saying, this old man, do you think I need this team? Anybody would want me on their squad. You tripping. And I'm not going to go on bended knee for your old ass not doing it.
But that's the crazy part, right? Because it's inevitable that he is a huge part of Dallas to the point where they need him. Whereas with Brandon Aiyuk, the Niners are still going to win without Brandon Aiyuk. I don't know if the Cowboys can say the same about CeeDee. That's where it doesn't make any sense to me, Rico. As you're saying, it makes no sense.
It's not making any sense. So listen, Jerry has to soften his stance.
Yes.
So you know what? I was tripping. I think I took too many blue pills that day, and it must have messed with some shit. And the wrong head was. I wasn't thinking. So you know what? How much did you say you want, CeeDee? Oh, you're penalizing me? You want an extra $1 million for all this nonsense? I got you. Here you go. Let's get this. Put the product on the field. Let these guys play. But you not paying this guy, you holding money from this guy, bro, they're not going to be happy, man.
He's been doing this forever. There's a reason why Jimmy Johnson didn't go into the Ring of Honor for Dallas until last year, even though he's the greatest coach in franchise history. It's all about Jerry. And it's amazing to me. You really don't see this anywhere else. I mean, I just couldn't imagine being a fan of this, Rico, because essentially you have to just be a fan of Jerry Jones. The team is Jerry Jones. When I'm a fan of the Bills, dude, Rico, when I'm rooting for the Bills, right? When I'm thinking about all the things that go into the Bills, Terry Pagula is probably like the 50th thing that I think of. Or I forgot about the real king, Tom Landry, by the way. Yeah, my apologies. Dallas has had some, his historic teams and historic coaches, but Jimmy Johnson, of course, right up there. Super Bowl, two-time Super Bowl champ, I believe, right? Both against the Bills with Jimmy Johnson, right? Either way, should have been in the Ring of Honor 20 years ago. But it was a power struggle between whose credit does it go to? Does it go to Jimmy Johnson or does it go to the owner, Jerry Jones? When I'm thinking about the Bills, like if the Bills were to win the Super Bowl, it would probably take me like my 10th thought process to get down to thank God Terry Pagula bought the team. It would go all over the place before I got to it. Whereas with Jerry, it would have to be like the first thing you think it would have to be Jerry Jones. That's not the way a team should be. Yet that's the only way he wants it. And that's exactly what he's getting. And I think as time goes on, as you mentioned, Rico, it's much more lucrative nowadays for the players. It doesn't mean as much. And I don't think Jerry's caught up with that.
Jerry, if he continues to do this, man, you're going to turn off. Not only are you going to turn off the players that you're dealing with directly, but the rest of the team is looking at this guy is not well, man. My contract's coming up next year or the year after that. I am not coming back to the squad. They're not. Listen, I don't care. You can't hide behind the old 90s Dallas Cowboys team. That's my problem with Dallas Cowboys fans. Y'all keep hiding behind your 90s Super Bowl victories. Those days are long gone. What have you done for me lately? Not a damn thing. That's what you haven't done. You haven't done a damn thing yet. So this whole you want to play for the star and all that stuff, bump all that stuff, man. There are teams that are rocking it right now, and Jerry Jones is messing this up. I made a few text messages to a couple of friends that are Dallas Cowboys friends. I'm trying to avoid calling my brother because he's just gonna rant and get all angry and shit, and I'm not trying to get it. It's good for TV, so I may call him just to be just talk a couple things to him. But Jerry Jones is actually, let me call my brother right now. Let me see if he's free. He's probably got the baby with him, maybe not. Let's find out. I got to turn my thing on here. Maybe he picks up. We'll see. This shit. He may not pick up, so it's all good. But Dallas Cowboys fans got to be.
You have reached a voicemail.
Why you're calling?
What's that, buddy?
He knows why you're calling. That's why he ain't picking up.
Because he knows I'm gonna roast his ass. I've had the edge to roast him. I mean, the last time the Dallas Cowboys played the Bills, we already know what happened. We just ran it down.
Oh, do we ever?
He wants nothing to do with me calling. When he sees at this time on a Friday, he sees my number calling. He's like, what's this loser want? And he may call back. We'll see. But Jerry Jones, you're bugging right now, bro. You're bugging. Pay your players, because if you don't, you're going to be at the basement of the NFC East, and they're going to be laughing your ass off. And you know what? You know who else is going to be LOLing? CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons retweeting that, by the way. That's a whole other ball game right there. So there goes
That's
Jerry
the other
Jones.
beauty of the social media age. That's the beauty. Like in real time, you can know exactly what CeeDee Lamb's thinking about this situation. It's the best. It's the best.
It is the best. That's the beauty of this thing. And he's LOLing. And he's probably sitting here talking to his agent and be like, yo, is this for real? Like, what's going on here? What are they doing? Don't worry, CeeDee. We're gonna get this sorted out. He didn't take his meds. We're gonna talk to him. We've done this with him for years. It's fine. But you made a great point. Keep messing with me, and the price just keeps going up.
Yeah, that's all it does.
And up, and it's not going to stop. Pretty soon, I'm going to be asking for 40 mil.
I mean, the price for attention to Jerry Jones, he pays for it. He gets the attention, but boy, does he pay for it. I mean, he does. Same thing's happened with Dak has taken him to the cleaners financially since he's gotten there. And he's either going to have to do it again or he's gone. Yeah, remember they franchise tagged him? I think they paid him like over $50 million on the franchise tag just to re-sign him again. Gave him a short-term deal. Now he's back to the trough again to get re-signed. It's up to 60 now. And now they have to choose to either pay him or he walks. So after all the money spent, you either lose him or have to pay him another boatload. I mean, he's taking him to the cleaners. So it's crazy. I don't get it. How did this guy become a billionaire? He's clearly you have got to be somewhat of a financial genius. I don't care what you say. You don't just stumble into being a billionaire. You have to be the 0.00001% of the financial mind to get to that point. How are situations like contracts for your football players this difficult for this guy? It makes no sense to me.
Bro, it's listen, I see a lot of the beams. I see a lot of the stuff that's going out there about Jerry Jones, and pay your player before it gets bad. But anyway, that's the Jerry Jones saga and that mess that they're dealing with. And as a Dallas fan, I'd hate this if like you said earlier, if Terry Pegula was messing around and doing pretty much what Wilson was doing when Wilson didn't want to pay anybody. Anytime it was time to pay somebody, he sent them off.
Right.
He sent them off somewhere else, and we're like, yo, pay someone, use the money. Listen, he was a cheap individual, and we knew that. And then once he gave control, and once he passed, and now there's other people in power, now we start to pay. That's why you saw big deals go out to Marcel Darius, to Mario Williams. You saw big time dude, Langston. I mean, I could go on, but anyway, that's Jerry Jones for you. Jerry Jones, pay your players, man. You want them to still be prominent, and right now you're messing up the bag for the whole squad and for the whole team, and the chemistry is just down the shit. That's just what it is. But yeah, man, I'm so what a great segue, by the way. Great segue. We're from receiver to more receiver talk to Jerry Jones. And we're gonna kind of stick to kind of that because we're talking about Caleb Williams. And we're talking about certain things that players do. And we were talking about that earlier behind the scene. You were talking about pressure. And I wanted you to talk on pressure. Is there pressure on Caleb Williams? And how and the pressure we're talking about is all the hype beforehand, number 1 draft pick, all that in between. Is there pressure on him more so because of his appearance now? I mean, he's got the painted fingernails, and he's got a purse or a man purse, whatever you want to call that, all the flair and the zest and all that good stuff. Does he have to be amazing for people to kind of say, okay, I get it? When you do all those things, you better be good.
I think he's got a ton of pressure on him. The Chicago Bears have never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards ever in the history of the franchise. I mean, it's absolutely insane. They've never had a 4,000-yard season from a quarterback. Franchise history. One of the most historic franchises in the sport has not had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in a season. Now you look at the team they've put around him. That's the other reason why he's got so much pressure, I believe, on him. This team is loaded. I don't care what you think about the Bears. I don't care what you think about anybody in this league. Go look at who the Bears have on paper. You cannot tell me that roster isn't jumping off the page. They are absolutely loaded. They are as set up to be, they are as set up for success as they have been, maybe in my life, these Chicago Bears. I don't know how they can't succeed. So therefore, if they don't succeed, not only would it be shocking, but I think it's going to fall on the shoulders of Caleb Williams. When you come out of the draft being as hyped up as Caleb Williams is, I mean, he's already been compared to Mahomes multiple times. He's been touted as the most no-brainer first round or first overall pick in how long? Maybe even more so than Trevor Lawrence. except this team that he's inheriting is way better than the one that Trevor Lawrence inherited when he was first drafted, especially with Urban Meyer being the coach. You talked about the situations you talked about the surrounding circumstances with Caleb Williams that kind of fuels into this pressure. When you are different, right? When you are the one quarterback in the league who paints the nails, or you have the man purse or whatever you were saying there, and then you had that situation when he was playing in USC when he hopped into the stands and was consoled by his mom after the game.
Yeah.
You can feel one way or the other about this. To me, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to winning. What I think that what causes problems with all of those things is that when you have people that don't like you or want you to fail, they use those different things that are linked back to you as reason to pile more on you. So if you don't play well, it's, you're going to jump back in the stands with your mom or whatever. These are the issues that come from that. Does it have anything to do with the play on the field? Absolutely not. But when you are as good as Caleb Williams is, and when you have the, I guess the pop culture sort of precedence he's set for himself in terms of being a trendsetter in ways that are beyond different than any other quarterback has been since they've entered the league, I think it does add some pressure because you have a bit of a different style to you. And what we know about different is that a lot of people don't like different. And if they already don't like you and they don't want you to do well, and we know there's 31 fan bases outside of Chicago that don't want Caleb Williams to do well, it, of course, adds more fuel to the fire for those people to pile on you for reasons that don't even have anything to do with playing football. So I think mainly beyond anything else, Rico, the pressure on Caleb Williams has more to do with the fact that this team is 10 times better than anything that Justin Fields had surrounding him. If Justin Fields had this team right when he was drafted, I have a feeling he'd probably still be the quarterback. They have gone out and constructed a team that has put this Chicago Bears in a situation that they haven't been in maybe in my whole life. If this winds up working out with Caleb Williams, they could be one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but in football. And I think every Bears fan knows it. So to say he doesn't have pressure on him, to say he doesn't have a ton of pressure on him would be a lie. Because to me, if he hits, there's no way this team doesn't wind up being one of the better teams in football.
Chances are he will hit. He should hit. I can't remember a situation where the GM just the situation that a quarterback happens to go to. I can't remember the last time. I'm sure it's been done where this guy they handed this guy a silver platter of a team. Yo, you got yourself 3 damn good receivers. Odonze, Keenan Allen, and you've got DJ. Like, what more do you want? You got a solid running back. Your defense is going to be solid, bro. You got a solid old line at the same time. There's no excuses. You have to come out and do well. Mm-hmm. Now he's got an opportunity because he's a rookie, so there's going to be some rookie moments, but the pressure is absolutely on for this guy. Not only that, you're the number 1 draft pick. You are the franchise. You got to turn this thing around and rather quickly, right? Especially want to be contention with the Bears. Now, I wanted to show you something really interesting. We talked about this earlier about pressure on Caleb Williams. Apparently, he's taken on the TB12 diet. And I was telling you about the TB12 diet and what it consists of. Buddy, there's no way I could deal with this diet. There's no way. First of all, my diet is already my diet is a very simple diet. I got my fruits, I got the meats, and I got the carbs. That's it. Maybe a couple veggies here and there, but I really don't do any veggies. I just don't do it. Right now, look at this and tell me how much of this you can do. It's hard to see, so I'll read it out for a lot of folks that are on this. All right, so he's on the TB12 diet, and a part of this diet, you are not to eat any of these things. Dairy, so there's no milk, cheese, yogurt, or ice cream. So I know about the ice cream part because to replace ice cream, Tom Brady was freezing avocado.
Yeah.
So avocado became his ice cream. Bro, that's got to be such a depressing diet. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so cheese, yogurt, ice cream, scrap that off the list. No beers, no wine, or any alcoholic beverage. I could do that. No wine, no beer, no nothing, no alcohol, no problem. Bacon, sausage, deli meats, red meat should all be avoided. What? Bread, pasta, cereal, baked goods. You lost me at baked goods. All right, that's number 1. Prepackaged snacks, forget about that. Chips and cookies, gone. White sugar, I know there's some people that cut out sugars, and so I'm sure there's ways to get around it. The white sugar, high fructose corn syrup, refined sugars, gone. Cake, pastries, candies, gone. Wheat, rye, barley, gone. Tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, potatoes. Potatoes? No potatoes? Gone.
Pepper?
Oh, peppers. Peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, soy products. None of that. Canola oil, soybean oil, refined vegetable oils, trans fats, and hydrogenated oils. Hydrogenated. I can't even say that. What is that?
Where are you looking?
Hydrogenated? Can't even say that.
Where
What
is
is
it?
that? Right here. I don't know if you can see that from here.
Hydrogenated.
Hydrogenated, for crying out. Hydrogenated oils, out. No coffee.
What it means, I have no idea. I know how to pronounce it. What it means, I couldn't freaking tell you, Rico.
Hydrogenated oils? What the heck is that? Somebody will have to tell us. That's a really big time into health. Coffee, caffeinated teas, energy drinks. I mean, I could deal with that. Gone. Packaged fruit, juices, and certain fruits, gone. Table salt, MSG. Bro, what can you eat?
Right.
What can you eat? Jeez,
but I
man.
will say, I love it. If you're willing to dedicate yourself to it, here's how I see it.
Crazy.
We're sitting here, right, behind the microphone, and right after this, we could go and pound 4 Big Macs, and it's not going to make a difference in our day tomorrow.
Attaboy, Sal.
When you get to the point where you are the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and you have the expectations set out for you that Caleb Williams does, and you are being touted as a guy that has the potential to be one of the all-time greats if you wind up playing up to the potential people have for you. Rico, if I'm him, a small price to pay would be cutting out the baked goods and the sausage and the whatever in order to achieve that. Because you are the 0.001% of the athletic world. Therefore, I understand the idea behind going and pursuing the 0.001% diet.
Right.
Tom Brady wouldn't have been Tom Brady because of the way he was built. Athletically, Tom Brady, it wouldn't even be in the top 100 quarterbacks of all time when it comes to sheer athleticism. But what does he wind up finishing his career as? The number 1 quarterback of all time. I don't think if he didn't train the way he did, and I don't think if he treated his body the way he did, it would never have came close to what he wound up achieving. So if I'm a Bears fan and I saw that, I know it's wild to see, but my God, that would have to have you excited knowing that he's willing to put in that work to achieve greatness. Because in order to do that, you have got to be some sort of nut in the head to be able to operate like that. And I think that is exactly what you want. Nut in a good way, of course, right, Rico? That's what you want your quarterback to be. And it seems like that's what Caleb Williams wants to be.
And you know what? It's great. But don't forget, Tom Brady went with that diet when he was like 30, mid-30s to maintain, right? The older you get, I mean, your body doesn't break shit down like it used to. When you're a young buck, you should be able to eat some of the things that you want to eat with moderation, of course. You can't go straight Tom Brady diet. Golly, that's insane. I mean, you see Pat Mahomes doing that?
See, that's what kills me. That's the one more reason behind Mahomes that frustrates you. When he walks in with like the square body, it's amazing to me. Like, it's amazing. That's what makes you wonder. What if Mahomes did that? That's what makes you wonder. Like, that's what you got to love about Caleb Williams. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get that much better. Because at this level, if you're just a sliver better, it could be all the difference. It makes you wonder, like, what if Mahomes ate like that? What if Allen ate like that? Who the hell knows? Who knows? But the crazy thing is, Rico, is that no one really does this. Like, you see some of the diets for these guys. I was watching the Receiver show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And like Justin Jefferson, like, he was showing his pantry, just like a ton of, he's obsessed with candy.
What was it? Oh, candy?
Candy. Like, he's obsessed with it. It's like crazy to me. Like, if I ate like that, I'd be dead. It's nuts how some of these guys are built. I know. But I think if you're a Bears fan, you got to love seeing that.
Listen, if your quarterback's dedicated, he wants to have success. And I think he's going to be really damn good. I mean, forget about all that stuff that he's putting.
He should
I think he's going to be damn good. And the Bears, I mean, it's going to be actually fun to see what he does tomorrow against the Bills in preseason.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe preseason is tomorrow, folks. Preseason is tomorrow.
By the way, I'm wondering, How about this, Rico? There's odds. There's odds for the preseason game tomorrow, by the way. Did you know this?
Talk about it.
I want to see. I didn't even realize. When you just mentioned that, I'm like, wait a second. What is there odds for this stuff? And of course, BetUS has it. I want to take a peek. Let's see what the deal is tomorrow.
So as you're taking a peek here, listen, someone that puts ketchup on steak, first and foremost, that should tell you that he don't give a damn about no diet. I mean, if you're gonna put ketchup on steak, I listen. Everybody,
that's somebody doesn't give a damn about anything. That's crazy to me.
Listen, I'll put ketchup on my eggs. I got no problems with that. But ketchup on steak, I don't know about that. All that. I need whatever you dry season that thing or dry rubbed on that steak. That's what I'm looking for. The flavor of the meat and that. But ketchup, nah, bro. You can't be doing that. You ain't eating no burger. You're not eating a burger.
That's what I'm saying. It's like getting a Ferrari and then getting like cloth seats in the inside. Like you're not gonna get the leather seats. You bought the Ferrari. Like, what are you doing? Like you're gonna get a nice steak, put ketchup on it. Like what the hell are you doing? It's crazy to me.
Get the cloth season Lamborghini, man. That's all about comfort right there. That's the way I look at it. But by the way, how's your Subaru doing you? You've had it now a week.
I haven't got it yet. I think next week it's coming in.
Oh, you didn't get it? You're waiting.
No, I've had to wait. Yeah, because they didn't have any. Well, you know what? This is what amazes me about car dealerships. You go to these places, they have 10,000 cars on the lot, and somehow the one that you're looking for, they never have it. They don't have it. They got to get it from somewhere else.
Oh,
what are all these cars doing on the lot? Like they're always just sitting there. It blows my mind. Car dealerships. I don't understand how they work.
Listen, I worked in the car dealers for 5 years, bro, and there's some cars that are there for display and display only. And if somebody's willing to pay for it and we really want to get rid of it, or we have something on back order ready, we're gonna give that up. And we'll do everything we can to avoid giving that one up and try to find the alternative, because you need to show it. If it's not on the, it's hard to sell someone on something when it's not on the showroom floor, or it's not somewhere we can show it. I gotta take you to it. That's what it comes down to. The good old dealership days, man. Those are the days. Man,
I would have loved dealing with you. At least it would have been fun. That's like I told you, that situation wasn't fun at all.
You know what though? There are some moments where I had some really good times. Like I'd have like a 3-hour deal. The deal was already done in the first place, and we're just shooting the shit, and they're just we're enjoying each other's company, and deal's done. And now I can sell some more stuff. Hey man, you trying to get some of this and some of that, and like, you know what?
Yeah, I know your dad's at home. You told me he was looking for a new car. Are you gonna get him in here, right?
And that's what it is, man. Hey, Dad, man, I got a great deal. This is what they did.
Right.
Boom, Bob's your uncle. 2-car deal. Let's roll. Get him on the board.
That's the way it should be done. Because if they like you, they're gonna recommend you, right? They're gonna recommend you if they like you.
It takes a while to learn the game. It's all about the game. Is game over, man. So preseason tomorrow. Do you have any odds for me? What are we looking at?
Yeah, speaking of the game, I just went and looked. The Buffalo. I don't know how they come up with the odds, but the odds are here nonetheless. The Buffalo Bills tomorrow, 1 p.m. kickoff, first preseason game of the year against the Bears on BetUS. The Buffalo Bills, Rico, -2.5, 2.5 point favorites are the Buffalo Bills tomorrow. I wonder if that factors in how much Josh Allen plays. But if you're willing to, hey, listen, I'll tell you this. If you think the preseason is, a little less exciting than the regular season, couple bucks over on BetUS. Link in the description below. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Couple of bucks on the Bills tomorrow, Rico. Could have you rooting for that game like a playoff game. But anyway, the Bills are favored. I just can't wait to see Bills ball tomorrow, Rico. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a away game or a home game?
It's in Buffalo tomorrow.
Oh, it's actually in Buffalo. Okay, that'd be nice. So people get to go watch the game, have a good time, get seasoned and ready, and away we go. Are there any stat lines that they're gonna have? Josh Allen in one series goes a touchdown.
No,
anything like that?
I don't believe there's anything like that, just because there's so much uncertainty as to how much somebody plays. But the over/under for the game is 38. So
give me the under.
Quite low, because the Bills themselves last year are averaging 26 points per game. So 38, that's like an Iowa football over/under right there. It's pretty dang low.
38 preseason. Yeah, that's about right. I like that. I'll take the under on that one.
I just hope we get at least a couple of series of like solid ball. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think we will get it. It's just a matter of getting warmed up. So we got to get warmed up. So a lot of guys got to step their game up. We got to see what Mitch Trubisky does. Who knows how much he plays? Then it's going to be Shane Buell. I think it's Buell or Buelle. But Shane Buell's going to be throwing the rock. So we'll see, man. So it's a preseason, baby. It is preseason, and these are why we draft these guys. We draft them late rounds. we're going to see some people step up. We bring in guys in free agency. We're going to see a lot of these things come into fruition. So we'll see. We shall see. Anything else on the docket there, good sir?
On the docket is that preseason game tomorrow and us talking about it right after. Catch Rico and I tomorrow after the preseason game. It should probably end, I would imagine, right around 4-ish or so. But
what time is it? Is it 1?
Game's at 1, so it's your standard 1 o'clock game. It probably will go a bit faster than a normal game would, I would imagine. Not a whole lot, but either way, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification. That way, as soon as we go live, you know exactly when we go live, and we'll get into it. And we're hoping we have some storylines to talk about. And I have a feeling we will. I think we're going to get some stuff out of tomorrow that'll be interesting to talk about, and we're looking forward to diving into Bills ball with you, man. Kicks off tomorrow, Rico.
Man, we're going to kick it in there. And by the way, you guys are tuned in. You guys already know the drill. We get to this point of the show. While you guys are watching on playback, I want you to type into the comment section. What would you want them to type in the comment section to let them know that they watched through this whole show? And to make it to this point, I want you to type this in the comment section. What do you got? The last show we did was Just Win, Baby. It was
I saw that.
So what do you got?
I want to see give me your prediction for who catches the first ball from Josh Allen tomorrow. I want to know who you think catches the first ball from Josh Allen tomorrow in the preseason game.
And don't just put the player's name. Just say, you know what, Josh Allen throws 2, and then tell us who it is, so we know. Okay, you got to this point of the game. So, I like that. I'm going to say Kincaid.
You're going to go Kincaid?
Kincaid.
That's my guess as well. Kincaid.
Yeah. Kincaid, or maybe Mac Hollins.
I want Kincaid to get like 35% of the first down targets. That's the way I want him utilized. That just seems to be the best formula to move the sticks. They were doing a great job of it last year, that intermediate game. I'd love to see him get the majority of the target share on first down.
I got a question for you, boss.
Yeah.
I saw this being asked on Sirius Satellite Radio. And you got to name 2. I need 2 from you. And I'm going to write this in because you don't know what I'm going to ask you.
Kevin H. is asking where the game's broadcast, by the way. 1 p.m. on NFL Network, Kevin H. All right, what do you got for me?
So, who are they?
Patriots
Who will be the 2 worst teams in the NFL by the time the season's all done? The 2 worst teams.
Patriots and Carolina.
Patriots and Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't hesitate.
No way. New England easily. And I don't know. I just Carolina, God bless them. I don't know.
You said Carolina, God bless them.
I don't see it. The Giants could be up there, but I think that they'll be better. They'll be a little bit better than last year. I think Dable's probably coaching somewhat for his job. Joe Shane might be too, depending on the outcome. Daniel Jones and who knows. But I think Carolina and New England.
So I'm trying to see here. Did I do the wrong PR? There we go. So New England, you say New England's going to be. How do you feel about Cleveland? Cleveland is always in contention. They're going to be great. Jacksonville going to be all right. You feel good about Jacksonville?
Tennessee won't be great, but I don't think they'll be more. Yeah, they'll be. They got to be better than last year.
What's Denver going to do? What about Los Angeles?
Denver could be. Chargers will be fine.
I think
with Harbaugh, I think the Chargers are going to be better than they have been.
I'm going to throw Broncos.
Raiders could be bad.
You think the Raiders will be bad?
Raiders could be really bad.
Oh man, I think the Raiders will be great. I'm on the opposite. I'm on the opposite end of that. I think they'll be solid. I think they're going to push. They'll push for plus.
With who? Gardner Minshew?
They were close last year. It came to the last one game or 2
think games. The Raiders are pushing for a playoff spot at the end of the year this year?
Absolutely, they are.
Holy. Do you ring the bell for yourself on the hottest take I have heard in a minute?
Do you really feel that's a hot take?
That is a blazing take. That is a blazing take. They might be one of the worst teams in football on paper right now.
Wow, really? You think it's that bad?
Oh, yeah.
Let's check this out. Hold on a second. Let's go back. So obviously we
look at their offensive depth chart.
Bills, before we go to the depth chart, let's go. Bills will take it. Let's say Baltimore will take this year for the North. The win that division.
Or Cincy, but yeah, I think Baltimore.
Whichever. Let's say Houston takes it.
Yeah,
I can see Houston taking it, and then obviously Kansas City takes it here. So 3 teams that could potentially push for the playoffs. The Raiders will be in it, man. I feel good about the Raiders, man. They pushed last year. Now you get
why? Why do you what do you like about them? They're also in the toughest division probably in the league, or not the toughest, but you got to play the Chargers twice with Harbaugh now, and you got to play the Chiefs twice.
So they don't have that. You know what? Let me go back to last year. So I just want to kind of give you an idea, because they weren't too far out of it, brother. They were not. Because everybody, don't forget, they're all clumped. They all get clumped into one. So there's your 4. I mean, I don't see what. Let me see if I can try to. Why do they keep give you regular season? There we go. Regular season. So obviously you got your top 4. Then you got your look. Everyone is around the same, man. Because you got Cleveland, Miami.
Cleveland was 11-2. Dude, the Raiders were 8-9.
They're down here, but I still feel that they're a couple more wins, and they're up in the 11 wins. This is what I'm saying. 8-9, a couple more wins. Right in the mix.
3 more wins is pretty significant.
It's there. They're in it. A couple more wins, and they're in the mix. They're in the mix.
Let me look at their schedule.
Yeah, the schedule might be. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the old sketch. Let's go for 2024. Couple more wins, man. They were 8 games, and they weren't even. They took over halfway through, and coach had these guys rolling, and they got better this year. I mean, who did they pick up from? They got Christian Wilkins. Listen, man, that team's gonna be decent, man. And they pushed through the Chiefs heavy. All right, so 2024 regular season. Let's go to the schedule, the old sketchy, and where are the Raiders at? Let's look at the Raiders. The Raiders, where they at? All right, let's check out the Raiders and what they got facing this year in terms of sketch. So the Raiders schedule, as we see fit, once this thing can line up and get this.
I think it was down there when you were right there.
Was that there?
Yeah, it's right
there. There you go. Full schedule. So if this is regular season, preseason, get that out of the way. Regular season, you got the Chargers. That's a crapshoot. You think that's an L? Don't forget division games. But let's say you say L. I say that's a 50-50. That's a toss-up right there. Baltimore, right, maybe that's an L. Carolina,
W.
Cleveland,
that's
I don't know who shows up. That's a toss-up.
I don't know what Cleveland's going to be. I really don't.
I absolutely don't know either, right? Broncos, toss-up. I think that's a win.
I think they could split they'll probably split with Denver this year.
Sure. Pittsburgh Steelers, you never know with Pittsburgh, man. You just never know with Pittsburgh. I'll give Pittsburgh the edge.
I agree. Maybe. Yes.
Okay. There's the Rams. There's the Rams. Maybe that's a loss to the Rams, because the Rams, I think, are going to be really good. Kansas City.
They do split with KC, man. Like they do split with KC.
This is what I'm saying, man. Cincy, who knows? Loss. We'll call it a loss. Okay, we'll say loss. Miami.
I hope that's a W. I hope that's a W.
So you got the Denver Broncos again. You got Kansas City divisional games. You got Tampa.
All right. I mean, it is a pretty shit schedule.
Atlanta, Jacksonville, Saints, Chargers, bro.
Man, I wish the Bills had that. I wish the Bills had that schedule.
So it's not as, I mean, they're not in bad shape, man. They're not in bad shape. Oh God, we got Walter says, I think I agree. Oh, Walter's my guy. I think I agree with you, man. With the defense and with their tight end pair with Adams, I can see the offense being at least competent. That's what I'm saying, man. 2 more wins, maybe 3 more wins. They're in the
all right. Do you want to see what their over/under win total is?
Oh, I do want to see that. By the way, Arrowhead Nation sounds like the Christmas gift is still giving. I knew the Arrowhead would say he'd have something to say about it. Hey, man, you know the Raiders play you tough, and they're going to play you tough again.
Speaking of Christmas, Arrowhead Nation knows all about Christmas gifts from the Raiders last year. Holy shit.
Do they ever?
Raiders beat them on Christmas Day with Aiden O'Connell. I think he had -5 yards in the second half. It's one of the craziest games I've ever seen. To this day, I still cannot believe, for the life of me, that the Chiefs lost that game. That was the moment in time where it really felt like the Chiefs were not going to be able to get back to the Chiefs that we knew. That's what made the Super Bowl win that much more impressive to me. It was that moment. It was that moment to me where I'm like, dude, this Chiefs team is just different, and they still overcame. It was crazy.
Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs, man. No matter how you want to slice it, as long as you have Mahomes and you got Kelsey still there, Andy Reid, there's still going to be a problem. But the Raiders, they just play you. Division games are division games. You guys, everybody knows that. But my man Arrowhead decided to, dead this whole nonsense and say, hey, Mahomes is 10-2 versus them. But 10-2, those 10 wins.
I would guess a little worse than that.
Those 10 wins were years ago. Where are these last 2 wins coming from? This is recent wins. These are. I
would have guessed worse than that. I would have thought it was more like maybe 9-3 or that's.
I'd love to see.
They do play him tough. They do play him tough. All right, Rico.
Yeah.
If you were to guess on BetUS right now, if you were to guess, what do you think the Raiders over under is?
Ooh, I think they're going to be in around the same. I say 9.5 to. I'd say 9.5 wins.
You think the Raiders over under is 9.5? The Bills is 10.5. You think the Raiders is 9.5?
Wild, right? Because I'm basing it on what they did last year, and I'm basing what we just looked at. We just looked at their schedule.
I would take out a bank loan, Rico, to put on that under a bank loan.
All right, we'll say based on the AFC is tough. So maybe I'm being a little overzealous. I'd say like between 7 and 8. 8. I'll give them benefit of the doubt and say 8.5.
Listen, if you're feeling the way you're feeling about the Raiders, Rico, I think you might need to make a bet over here because Rico, right now on BetUS, it's 6.5.
6.5.
It is 6.5 minus 145 on BetUS. What do you think about that? So you think that's cashing with ease, the over?
That might be something you put money on, man. They're just a couple games away, and now you have the head coach that's starting right from scratch with his team. So they already know what time it is, and that defense is going to be humming, man. Listen, man, I'm looking at 8, man. I say 8 to 9, man. He said, "Yo, Rico, put some money on that bitch, man. Put some money on that."
Listen, if you want to fade Rico, link in the description below. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. Rico, you're guessing 8.5, 9.5, 6.5. I mean, you might need to go tell Jenna, hey, honey, I think I got a strategy here for the 401k. We're putting it on the.
Listen,
on
man,
scrape
up $100 and put it over, man. Put it on the over. There's some people that are feeling that. I think this is where you can make some money.
You're gonna tune in this season. It's gonna be the Rico Raider report on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel. That's
the Raiders have plenty of content creators over there, so they're good on that side. So we'll see, man. What's the win total for the Chiefs this year?
I believe it's I think it's 10.5 as well, right there with the Bills. It might be 11.5. Let me take a look. It's either 10.5 or 11.5. And survey says 11.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs on BetUS, minus 125 to go over. So all these top teams are either 11.5 or 10.5. The Bills, the Ravens, Niners, Chiefs. And that's where you expect everyone to fall. I mean, that's with as tough as these conferences are now, especially the AFC, like you take an 11, 12 win seed. 12 wins great, but 11 wins, what the Bills got to last year. I mean, they had to absolutely crawl through glass to get to 11-6 last year. So it's tough.
It was good times. But listen, man, ladies and gentlemen, put some money where your mouth is, man. Those Raiders might get you some money. By the way, join me tomorrow after the game on the Bleacher Report. Right after, I'll jump on with my man Bot, and so it'll be half-hour stream with me on the Bleacher Report. We're going to talk about it, what we saw in that game, and then we'll jump on to the Rico Bot in the afternoon, and we're going to do a little post-game show on the Raiders. Excuse me, you got me saying Raiders on the Bears game, and we might even take some phone calls. We might even see. I got Raiders in my head right now. We might even take some phone calls to see how y'all doing, man. But
I like that idea.
I like it a lot. So that's it for us. I mean, shoot, you got anything else to add there, brother?
Can't wait for tomorrow. Bills, Bears, 1 p.m. We'll be live with you right afterward to talk about what we saw. Bills football. I know it's preseason, but it's ball nonetheless. Starts off tomorrow. We will see you then. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody. Much love. Enjoy your Friday evening. We'll see you Saturday afternoon on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel. Hit the like button and subscribe button on your way out. Once again, we'll see you tomorrow. Rico, Bot, much love. Peace.
Peace.